Hey folks, we're back with a new episode of Three Men and an Anime. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening, or at least as wonderful as you can possibly have these days.
Yeah.
Lockdown 3!
Damn! Yeah,
The lockening!
the locketing.
The Lockdown 3. This time it's personal.
Yeah.
No, that'd be
But
4.
we already had Lockdown Boogaloo. That was number 2.
No, see, it's Lockdown 3D, then next is Lockdown the Revenge, this time it's personal.
Yes.
The Lockdown's currently in 3D for Gav.
Oh, you're right. It's in 3D. With the cardboard lockdown coming at the camera.
Yeah, well, once the budget starts running low, that's when, hopefully that means it'll be getting worse or better. Which way is it? I don't know.
Wait a minute, is this the one with Michael Caine?
That was the Revenge.
Okay.
That's the next one.
Yeah, that's the next one. That's the one where the shark roars and explodes.
I really
4
hope
times.
Michael Caine doesn't get sick with COVID now.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm just referring to Jaws movies. Now you've
I
got
know,
to curse him. You've cursed him, Gav.
He got a holiday in the Bahamas, and you know it.
Oh, for Jaws the Revenge? Oh god, yeah. No, that was entirely Michael Caine mailed that in.
It was very nice.
I am certain he turned up to set inebriated almost every time he had to record to do anything because that was a vacation.
Yeah.
Because anything else, that script did not deserve anything more than that from him.
Once
Ugh.
more, instead of talking about music, we're now talking about terrible movies instead of the fucking cartoon.
Indeed. But we're going to be talking about Gav's most recent series selection. We are covering Season 2 of Log Horizon.
For no reason whatsoever.
It's not like Season 3 starts airing tomorrow or this weekend or something like that. It's very shortly.
Remind me not to start watching it and save it for Saturday.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Eric. Unless you... Anyways, so yeah, Log Horizon Season 2. We covered Log Horizon Season 1 a long while ago.
Long time ago. It was like
thousands of years ago.
I think it was like the 5th episode we did. When
Something
I was
like that.
75.
Yeah.
Was it that long ago?
Oh, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was one of the first.
It was either my second or third selection, I think.
No, I can't be that far back. We were only on like episode 10.
Eric, we're on episode 75.
No, that causes existential crisis. We're on episode 10.
Eric, prepare to have an existential crisis. Sorry. Yes, it was episode 4. Was when I did.
71 episodes ago. I think this is isn't this like our 4-year anniversary?
Something like that.
That's
Yeah.
impossible, Gav. That would cause an existential crisis.
Time waits for no man, and in your case, it kicks you in the balls.
Episode 1 was recorded. It was uploaded to YouTube
Howdy, folks.
on. Shut up. There we go. On January 26, 2016. So close,
Holy
Gav.
shit.
You are very close to being absolutely correct. It's almost our 5-year anniversary.
5-year anniversary. Fuck.
No, that's impossible. 1999 was only like 5 years ago.
Eric is 2021.
That's impossible. If we're 2021, then I would have a flying car, and we'd be hunting replicants, and I'd definitely have robot
You
arms.
see, the problem there, Eric, is you believe the 80s.
Oh, fuck. Wait a minute, 2021, shouldn't we be, like, tooling around the Australian desert in rat rods? And
Either that
bondage
or
gear?
wiped out by Terminators,
No, that's ridiculous.
No, Eric, we got all the bad parts of the cyberpunk dystopia, none of the fun parts.
No.
We got RoboCop. Fuck.
No, we didn't even get the good parts of RoboCop.
Yeah, we had the killer robots, never mind.
Fuck. Anyways,
Anyway.
Log Horizon Season 2. So we don't really have to recap. Hopefully, we don't have to recap the characters. Because most of the cast hasn't changed. It's been added to because
Yeah. We've added a few characters.
because as much as I love this series,
It's got quite the cast.
Mamoru Tono Sensei definitely has a fondness for large diverse casts, shall we say?
Yeah, and not only that, he manages to service all of the characters, and the story itself is dense.
Yes, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on, and there's many plot points or plots going on throughout this season.
Yes.
So for those, just for the quick recap, for those not familiar, Log Horizon is your standard isekai fare. There was no van involved this time, but basically a bunch of gamers log on for the launch of the expansion of the latest MMO. Well, the latest expansion of their favorite MMO, and they all wake up in another world, not in the game, kinda. Yes, no, maybe, but in another world in and of itself, which has fact. It's almost like what It's the yeah. It's weird to explain actually.
It's the world the game is representing.
Yes, but there are still game interface and mechanics in. It's weird. Imagine real world and a game just being mashed together.
As Natsugo, our resident take of our heroic party, is fond of saying, only the weird parts are still like a game.
Yes. Like the whole thing, yeah. The world is populated by living and sentient creatures, and if you kill them, they'll drop money.
Well, the monsters are debatably sentient.
The monsters are. So the your standard NPC person in like a town and whatnot that you like run into as window dressing in a game like this are actually like sapient independent creatures with like inner lives and personalities and like with their own thoughts and motivations and ambitions.
They think of the players, the adventurers, as they refer to them, as these immortal warriors that show up, and the limit of their history is what's happened in the game. And yeah, it's a cool concept, to be honest. It's a nice twist on the isekai thing.
Yes.
Which is weird because it's one of the first proper modern isekais. So
it came out a bit after a couple. There've been a few before that, like both Sword Art Online and Excel World, because thank you, Ricky Kawahara.
Sure. But it was part of that first wave, is what I'm saying.
Yes, it was absolutely. It was part of it was part of that first big wave.
And it didn't focus on the, oh my god, look at the awesome shit I can do while screaming. It actually has a brain. And realizes that...
Yeah, that's not fair. I like to do awesome shit while screaming.
It does, but it realizes that playing an MMO is a job. Especially at the level these guys do.
Yeah, the big thing is, unlike a lot of isekais, it's not about like I'm a new player and must work my way up with my crazy cheat power that I picked up because of I'm an isekai hero. Aha! But I have to start at the bottom. No, our main cast all are basically max level for the game before the expansion dropped.
Yeah, they're all old vets at the game.
And they do develop cheat powers through the course of the show by actually basically going, well, so we'll actually get to that in a second because that actually comes up.
That's in this season, yes.
Well, the first example we see is in season 1.
Right, with the whole crossroads and the contract and
but yeah, so season 2 basically picks up roughly where season 1 left off. With our heroes, the denizens of Akihabara, basically okay, well, we're still here in the world, and we still got to figure out how to to live in this world because we still haven't figured out a way home. Which comes up to
thing is even remotely possible.
Sure, that is part of the overarching plot of this season. Is one of the fires at Shiroe are basically the nominal lead character. The show's got a big ensemble cast, but Shiroe is pretty much the main character.
Yeah.
Shiro's the first amongst equals, shall we call him?
Yeah. I mean, he disappears from this show for good chunks because it's focusing on somebody else. But generally, he's the one they all revolve around.
Yeah. I mean, a large part of what's going on in the world is revolving. A large part of what's happening in the world is in no small part because of what he's up to.
Yes.
Because he has big plans. which are usually for the better of everybody else. That they always are, but being the sort of socially awkward nerd that he is, he's not very good at explaining what he wants, what he's trying to do to other people.
And he's not above misleading and just outright lying to people to make sure it happens the way it should for everyone's best interest.
Yeah, although that bites
There's
him in the ass.
It almost always bites him in the ass, but there's a reason why he's called the villain in glasses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Despite that he has one of the biggest hearts of anybody in the show.
Yeah, he just sucks at expressing it.
He's really bad at it. Again, socially awkward nerd.
Yeah. So primarily this season is split into, I'd say, 2 distinct halves.
Pretty much. With
Sure, I mean each half has a bunch of different story arcs that I'm just gonna come right out and say it. This season is a lot more disjointed than season
It is.
1.
Yes. Because I think that's because of the weight of that big ensemble. Trying to get something for everyone to do, as well as not just you can see on the title card there, all those characters, including the one we haven't introduced yet. They're all
we don't
members.
need to introduce her. She's annoying.
They're all
we
members
do need
of.
to she's important, Eric.
Yeah, they're all members of the guild Log Horizon. That they are the members of the guild.
Yeah.
There are other guilds that interact with them and talk and almost are, step guilds in some cases. They might as well be related and joined together as whatever else.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest, like Log Horizon and Crescent Moon are basically one guild. The amount of fraternization and the amount they hang out in each other's guild halls and whatnot.
But it's just a case of it's not just the members of Log Horizon that the story services. It's also giving depth and character to these other guilds at the same time.
Yep.
And there's this web of connections that just spread out throughout the entire world.
And it's not even counting the various NPC characters who are themselves major movers and shakers in the world and have their own character arcs and
the
whatnot.
people of the land.
Yep, the people of the land.
So part of what happened with season 2, from what I understand, is it is compressing a more actual light novel material into one season than season 1 did, because of what happened with the author.
Elephant in the room.
Yes. The author. What's his name? Tomoe Sensei, I believe. Was it Tono? Yeah, Mamare Tono. He went to jail for a while for tax fraud.
As you do.
So there was basically, if they'd taken the same amount of light novel material they did for season 1 and put it into season 2, there was not enough left over other than that to do a season 3.
Ironically, the first half of this season deals with fucking finances.
What? No! It's not like economics are a large part of the show, Eric. Gav, what are you talking about? Yeah, also, there is a little bit of stuff in here which is, from what I understand, not in the light novels, but it was in a spin-off manga series, which is canon. Most of the actions we see involving the one episode spin-off bit we had, which we'll get to, that was technically a manga spin-off that happened. That wasn't in the light novels proper, but it was definitively canon. It's just they didn't make it into light novels for various reasons. But they added here because it was important to get that in to make the end of the season make sense.
Always a good.
It was a good decision, but it meant that everything, all the other plot arcs had to be compressed by at least an episode. So the first half is revolving around Shiroe's fiscal quest, basically.
Yeah, during season 1, they went out of their way of the Guild of Log Horizon. They did the whole thing where they bought the actual guild house because as the game became real, everything had a price, including the buildings, including the guild hall itself. And they realized that asshole guilds might buy the guild hall and block, deny people access. They might buy the cathedral where everyone resurrects and deny people access. Not that happens.
No, not Nakihabara.
Yeah, that
And
just
so-
happened in another
It's-
city.
Yeah, and so to try and stop this, Shiro, again, this is all season 1. Shiro hatches a plan and gets everyone money together and buys basically Akihabara.
Yeah, well, the first thing he does is buys the guild hall to use a bludgeon uses a bit of a blackmail tool to form the round table.
The round table.
The round table is basically Akihabara's impromptu government that they throw together.
All the biggest guilds.
But largely to prevent things like exploitation of lower level players, which was becoming a problem because, well, it was pretty lawless.
Right, he basically makes the point, yeah, we don't have any laws, but what about this thing that prevents the PKing in the city? That's not a law, that's a force of nature, you dumbass, Isaac. Isaac, you're a good guy, but no, that's not a law. Laws are what the rules we form that we obey.
That's a law in like the scientific sense, not in the societal sense.
Oh.
But
Okay.
the issue with it though is that as they quickly realize that all these places also, as well as an initial cost, they have an upkeep cost as well.
Yeah.
And the rent's expensive in this part of town.
Well, they've bought all the major important buildings in the entire town the round table has. So yeah, Shiroi has to come. They have to come up with a plan to not go bankrupt. Also, Shiroi notices as usual, he's looking at a bigger picture than that even to come up with his actual plan because he needs a truckload of money.
Yeah.
Like he needed $5 million to buy the guild hall last season. The money that he needs is now in the trillions. Which, when he explains that to Natsuko, he's there to the guild. They're like, the what now?
The what now?
That was with a T. You said yes. Okay.
What Shiro does, he pulls together some of his most trusted allies, and he after talking with
he talks to the
people of
Kunai
the land
clan.
that basically run what would be the admin functions.
Yep.
Talks to them, formulates a plan, and decides we're going to go on a raid. I'm going to pull together my closest allies, and I'm going to go talk to this guild that walked out last season, and set things up in a neighboring city that's closer to the raid hall. And they're very good at this sort of thing. And I'm going to talk to them into helping out here. I can't bring you guys, the other major raid guilds, because well, one, we have a problem with the spies, and we have no idea who's a fucking spy. 2, you're kind of needed for security. Because there's still some political tensions, and there's still mopping up from a major monster incursion because no one was doing quests. So all these events normally have a cycle just kept going and getting out of control.
So yeah, Krusty and most of the high-level members of DDE are off doing that. And so Shiroi, and when Eric says that he brings his closest people, he was going to go alone, and Natsuko goes like, yeah, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm going with you. You need a tank. And Akatsuki's like, yeah, I'm going too. And Shirai's like, no, I really need you to do something else, Akatsuki.
No, Akatsuki, you are the best intelligent asset we have. We need you here.
I need you to protect Princess Lanessia.
Protect Princess Lanestia because she's a major political linchpin with our relationship with the people of the land, and also you're a best counterintelligence agent we have. The end. Period. Full stop. We need you here.
Unfortunately, he doesn't tell her this because Shiroi's bad at this.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, to be honest, in the first half of this arc, Akatsuki, she was starting to get on my nerves. It's like the number of times I was shouting at the screen, like how unfucking stoppable she is. She's an absolute murder beast, and she sat there going, "Oh, I'm useless. I can't do anything.
I don't have any high-end gear.
Well,
I've never been on a raid.
There's a reason for this.
You've never been on a raid. You don't have any high-end gear, and you can match a guild leader."
Now, to be fair to Katsuki, one, She is more socially inept than Shiroway.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
She has serious self-confidence issues.
Yep.
She's not used to talking to people, period.
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, okay. Full disclosure: the reason I'm pissed off with her, she reminds me of me.
Yeah, yeah.
I have been playing World of Warcraft now, the new expansion, since it came out. I have a mythic level geared tank, and I daren't do anything more than heroics. Or not even heroics. I daren't even do heroics just yet. And it's like, yeah, I should be face rolling. I'm face rolling normals. That's good enough for me.
but she's partially because she's used to like one of the big things she's had since the whole coming to this world is she's had Shiro to lean on.
Yeah.
To as much as he's socially awkward, he's still actually good at talking to people when he needs to. He just hates doing it. But he's good at being a terse, gruff, public face. She can hide in his shadow and not have to put herself out there.
Quite literally.
Yes, well,
yeah.
And so she's sitting here and no small part of the problem she's having is literally she doesn't think she's worth being someone that people can count on, despite that she very much is. And that is part of the lesson that she learns is that no, Akatsuki, you rock, and we all like you for you. Oh. It's okay. The other thing she learns is it's okay to ask for help, which is one of those things that a lot of people, me included, have trouble with.
3 hardest things in the English language to say are, I need help, I love you, and Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, but yes. Worcester is also correct, actually. I know, Gav. I know. Dropping the Shire part is actually is also another correct way to say it.
I mean, I grew up 20 miles south of a town called Worcester. It's not spelled anything like you'd expect it to be.
It's spelled exactly the way that you and I would expect it to be, Eric. That's just where we grew up. Or Gav, for that matter.
Yeah.
Makes complete sense to Gav. But at any rate,
Worcester.
Yes. But yes, yeah, so basically, Shiro goes off to he first goes off to try to negotiate with the Kunai clan again at a sort of a mountain cabin right near where their home territory is. And a not so subtle, yeah, I know where you live. Except he's not actually trying to blackmail them. He's sort of show off that I'm good at finding shit out. Just help me. The problem is it comes off across as kind of a threat. Although they can't help him because of reasons.
There are rules involved.
Yes, there are rules involved, and they can't break them.
Yeah.
So
they refer to it as a pact that they
an ancient treaty, I believe.
An ancient treaty that the clan signed, i.e., it's how they're fucking programmed.
Yes, it's how they were programmed in the game, and is now just but that was the fluff reason why they were that way. Therefore, that is the way it is in the world they're in.
Yeah,
it's an ancient treaty. All the things that are like the fluff reasons for game mechanics are the way things actually it's just the way the world works.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hilarious.
So anyway, to keep from getting to a blow by blow here.
Yes.
Shiro and Natsu go and visit Silver Sword.
Along with Regan, because he's there.
Oh, that's right. Regan comes along. Goes to visit this Silver Sword in their stronghold.
They buggered off
to that fucked off in season 1.
They buggered off to Susukino, where they basically beat the crap out of the remnants of Demikos in Brigantia.
His name's not Demikos, it's Susan.
To be fair, he deserves to be called Demikos by the end.
Sure.
He deserves to have his actual name.
So he heads up there. He teams up with them through basic shenanigans.
Well, he basically goes and say, "Hey, William, I need a favor." Okay, I didn't tell you what it was.
It doesn't matter.
I regret not helping you last time, so yeah, I'm helping you this time. I feel like a goddamn moron.
Feel like an ass. So yeah, I'll help you out. What is it? It's a raid. That's what we do. Awesome.
Sweet. Yeah, it's a new dungeon no one's been to before. You mean it'll be a world first?
It'd be world first. We're in.
I mean, we're a little short-handed. Because one of the big running themes about this is the whole. They do talk about the death, the whole what happens when you die in this this season. And William's like, yeah, the whole losing your memory thing. I don't know about that. All I know is that when you die, you kind of learn that you suck.
A little bit, yeah.
And it wears on you. People eventually.
You learn that you suck because you start reliving some of the shittier parts of your life back when you were, not stuck in the game in this not a game really, this world. So yeah, that's not fun. It kind of causes some psychological problems. Kind of sucks.
We start to get a little bit further into that later in the season again, but yeah. Like at this point, the guys in this guild, at the very least, it's not like the whole thing about like the mention in season 1 about losing a memory, and it's like Shirue's always been kind of afraid of that because he's not actually died since the reboot, and like these guys, because they're a raiding guild, they obviously have, and they've kind of overcome it. He thought they'd be like scared of it all and all the rest of it, and one or two people have, and they've dropped out and given up.
They're a little short of a full raid party at the moment.
But the ones that are still there are like, yeah, okay, we get it, but these are memories that we give up willingly to improve and get better and adapt to where we are now.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't died a ton either, from what I understand.
No, not like a million times.
Yeah, but
like some people will meet.
Yeah. So, but they basically have, I believe, they need 24 people for a full raid party, and they've got coincidentally 20 left in the guild. Sure, Natsuko make 22, so they have to find a couple more people. Natsuko is out wandering looking for people to help, and stumbles across with Regan, and stumbles across a cleric. Okay, so Tetra.
So Tetra's got basically running this whole like idol theme.
Yes.
Tetra is a role player.
Yeah. And is completely over the top, completely obsessed with this theme that she's got going on. It becomes pretty clear to everyone but Natsu, because he's dense, that Tetra's Beat Space player is a dude who's just playing up with the whole like girly femininity thing because for funsies,
or for any number of different reasons. They don't go into why why they're doing it, but it's actually largely irrelevant for the most part.
It is. It's largely irrelevant, except that like it keeps on getting mentioned every once in a while. It's like, when's he gonna figure out that she's a dude?
Yeah, the issue it's not the the what's going on. It's the speed.
She's irritating as all fuck off. That's the problem.
Oh, it's the speed in which the joke gets driven into the fucking dirt.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I totally rock that. I dislike her less than Eric and Gav did, but I'm not a fan. Tetra has moments where they are fantastic. Honestly,
yes.
Usually when they dial it back a bit. Also,
I'm just gonna refer to Tetra as she because
yes.
That's how she presents in the game. That's how she refers to herself. Yes. Tetra is a she, as far as I'm concerned. The only reason I brought up the whole like Beat Space is Beat Space male is because the show brings it up.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, it's also a little bit important given one other thing that's going on. The other bit is that Tetra takes a lot of fun at sort of needling Natsuko and flirting with him heavily, because especially once she figures out that Natsuko definitely has a thing going on with Marine.
Yeah.
Marielle,
Marine, for those who are
Marielle, sorry, I just remembered the name.
Marielle, for those who don't remember, is the guild leader from
Crescent
Moon, who is, for all intents and purposes, also a part of Log Horizon.
But she very much, it is very much her guild. She runs
It's
it.
very much her guild, but like Log Horizon and Crescent Moon might as well merge.
They're basically an alliance. They're in an alliance. It's for they're allied guilds. They work together, but they do have different styles of running things, and they do different things.
Sure, and I won't deny that, but the degree of fraternization and working together and such, it strikes me as, why don't you just cut down on the fucking paperwork for both of you and just become one? Why don't you merge?
Because they don't want to. I mean, they run things differently.
Listen, all I know, if I were involved in this, I'd say we merge and we buy that big bleak castle on the mountain cliff, and it's covered in chains and spikes, and that now we're a Castlevania ripoff. So screw you guys.
Yeah. Anyways, but at any rate, Tetra. By the way, we find. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, they go off. They're off doing a dungeon raid. Meanwhile, Akatsuki is doing her bodyguard thing. She's bodyguarding the princess, and there's a murder mystery that's going on in town in Akihabara, which you'd think wouldn't be possible. But somebody is actually killing other players in town, and that is not supposed to be possible without the royal guard showing up to beat you up. So it turns out that one of the people who run the royal guard armor is decided to go around murdering adventures at night over Christmas, because ho ho ho, now I've got a machete too.
Because basically it's a case of, again, the royal guard who were literally just this function of the game that came in and stopped people, punished people from player killing. Now they've been fleshed out. They are people of the land who that actually operate as the police force of the town. They are people that wear armor that go out and do things.
So he'd actually saved up a truckload of money and bought a raid quality katana, which is awesome. Unfortunately, one of the plot points that's going on is the world they're in is becoming more like an actual real world. So, like, distances are moving back towards what they should actually be, as opposed to being the half distances that the game. So basically, the game world is it's about it's the half Gaia project. So like the distances are halved.
We'd use miles to meters kind of sort of situation.
It's, every mile is basically a half mile, etc. It's using the real world map. But etc. So the Japan server is literally all the stuff's in Japan. If you play on the Chinese servers, you're playing in actual China, etc. So distances are moving back out. It turns out that if you're playing cross-gender, it's becoming more real than it was. Just saying. Also, we finally noticed that the flavor text on items that used to be it's just flavor text for the item. Yeah, it's coming true now. So the flavor text on the sword that the guy bought is, it's a cursed sword.
Yeah.
It's literally embodies the spirit of the previous
raid boss.
Of the raid boss,
and it's the raid boss that drops it basically. So, when it's in the hands of
a cursed mad king kind of deal.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things where it's like, if it was in the hands of an adventurer, in game wise, because it's just flavor text, that's all it is. It's like this sword possesses these, contains the soul of the Mad King, blah blah blah. Because a person on the land's got a hold of it, the Mad King decides, I'm going to possess him.
Well, the implication is it might actually have done that to an adventurer too at this point.
Potentially,
Flavor text is coming, as we find out a bit later on after this arc, at the end of this arc. The flavor text ends up being bad news for the adventurers too. He's off murdering adventurers because he's convinced they're the humans who betrayed him. The Mad King, that is.
Yeah.
So Akatsuki's like, well, this sucks. It's causing problems for Lenesia. And Akatsuki sort of like, and a bunch of other the other major female characters in this series are all hanging out with Lanessia, and like, so it's Akatsuki, Henrietta, Marielle,
the blonde bard from DDD.
Yeah, well, she's a sorcerer.
Yeah.
Rise.
She's Rise. Yeah.
Rise, who's awesome, but we'll get to, she's new. She's relatively new. I'm trying to think of the ones that were there before. The summoner that works for Crescent Moon, who she was a pastry chef whose name escapes me.
Yeah.
She's hanging out with them too. There are a few other characters that are hanging out there, but those are the main ones. And Rise, who's a member of DDD, who is she's their training commander and one of their strategists, and she's a sorcerer. And she's kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah.
She's very formal. She does not like warm up easily to anybody.
She gets a lot more of a spotlight in this season. Well,
she gets spotlight all this season.
Well, yeah, pretty much all the way through. She becomes
she's a major character, and she's awesome. I love her. She's great.
Yep.
But yeah, she so Akatsuki, like, Lanessia sort of has come to the conclusion that people in Land and Adventure really can't be friends. We don't really understand each other well enough. This is eventually proven to be complete bullshit. And Akatsuki doesn't think that she can be friends with any people because she doesn't deserve it because she's self-confidence issues.
Akatsuki.
Yeah,
she's got issues. Yeah.
Also, but she's decided that she wants So eventually, part of it is shenanigans happen here and there before this, and they're all fun. Rise basically has a long chat with Lanessia actually about, and basically is the first one to sort of break down that whole sort of we can't be friends thing. He's like, bullshit, we should be friends. And Lanessia's like, wait, what? I don't understand how to treat you adventurers. Well,
like you could try treating us like people.
Like, I'm not particularly good at this either, because most of us are nerds and we're not
most
good.
Most of us are socially awkward weirdos, so
just be yourself and treat us like people, and how you'd want to be treated. But it's she explains her sort of whole, Rise talks about her background a bit and how much she's actually kind of secretly glad this has all happened, because it's forced her to confront the fact that, I was sort of a big fish in a small pond and was really bad at interacting with people. And now I've been forced to actually interact with people, and I've learned to do it, and I kind of like it. And I like these, I've made friends, and it's awesome. Friends I would never have made out in the real world, and I'm so psyched that I've gotten to know them now. Of course, Henrietta's like, bullshit, I would have gotten to know all of you because you're all adorable, and I refuse to believe that me not getting to know all the cute girls is impossible. Fuck that noise.
Henrietta's a weirdo.
Yeah, but she's an awesome weirdo.
Yeah, everybody likes Henrietta, but that doesn't stop her from being a weirdo.
Oh, she definitely is, yeah.
The woman's a maniac.
She is, but she's a lovable maniac. And she's brilliant also. But she's definitely a weirdo in a lot of good ways.
And all of this is happening concurrently to Shiro's cunning plan to raid this mega dungeon.
Yeah. So basically, he's planning on raiding this mega dungeon because it supposedly is the secret location of all of the Kunie clan's money, and he needs all the money in the world to do the thing he wants to do.
And it's literally all the money in the world is where all the money that when you just kill a goblin or a dragon or something that drops coins as part of the loot, that's where the money comes from.
Yep. Whenever a monster is spawned and it has money, this place gives it money.
So basically, they're breaking into the entire accounting system of the game.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
It's a raid dungeon. It's a mega raid dungeon.
Yeah.
It's a mega raid dungeon, which proves to be more challenging than anyone was expecting. Partially because the raid bosses don't just sit there in their zones. No, you attack one, the others go, what the fuck's going on with Bob? We better go check on Bob. Now you're dealing with 4 of them. Well,
because
3.
The raids don't behave as they should now. They're
not just a game anymore.
They are dungeons with monsters down in the dungeons. If one hears you, it's gonna come say hello.
So yeah.
The bosses, the raid bosses themselves still follow their mechanics.
Yep.
With timers and all that bullshit. So, a well-drilled raid team can actually predict it and overcome them. But when like 3 of them show up at once with all their different AoEs going off at the same time, it's like, no.
And were you not expecting it? Yeah. So yeah, so Akatsuki basically overhears Lanesia's Lenesia basically talks with the Kunie clan about what's going on, and the Kunie clan, the representative shows up and says, "Yeah, the whole murderer thing. Yeah, that's on us.
That's on us.
Yeah, one of the Royal Guard. Yeah, they kind of have gone crazy and are killing adventurers with the Royal Guard armor. That's our bad. Sorry."
Yeah.
That's why he's teleporting all over the place. That's why you can't actually fight him, because he gets buffs depending on how many people are around him at any point given time. At any given point in time. We should point out that the radius is 50 fucking meters.
Yeah, literally all of the bullshit mechanics they put in to stop some asshole guild deciding we're gonna kill all the royal guards.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, she's like, well, is there anything we can do? Well, not really. I mean, in theory, we could shut off the magic circle powering all the royal armor. Well, there's a drawback to that. Yeah, that also powers the magic field that prevents monsters from coming in the city. Well, can't you turn it back on? It would take about 50 years.
It's a slow process.
Yeah,
I see.
I mean, to be fair, the Cooney guy, he's the kind of dude you just want to slap, because he shows up, he's like, yes, this is our fault, we apologize. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? Nothing, because of an ancient treaty. Fuck you!
Well, in this case, there's not much we can do. If there's something you want, if you want to start with the magic circle, we'll do it. But I'm not sure I could recommend that.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh fuck, it's the person in the land is killing them. They're gonna hate us. It's all gonna be terrible. And like once
the potential political fallout is monstrous. It could lead to war.
Akatsuki overhears this. Well, okay. And Akatsuki's like, wow, she's bearing all this bullshit on her shoulders, and fuck. Because Akatsuki like really admires Lanesia's sort of intestinal fortitude about this stuff, because she's dealing with a lot of political bullshit that at her age she probably shouldn't have to deal with.
Yeah.
And is doing way better than honestly most people would. So Akatsuki's like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go see if I can do something. I'm gonna go see if I can, stop him. Maybe I don't know, but I'm gonna go try at least. And Lanesia's like, okay, but you should probably tell you should probably tell the round table. They should probably know about this. Oh, okay. Katsuki goes out and she figures something out that no one else figures out because she's good at this shit. Well, the only place that he could, he can't be here, or here, so therefore he's got to be in the sewers. That's where he's hiding out during the daylight hours, because otherwise we'd have found him by now.
Yeah. He has to. The whole thing about the magic circle is his armor is immobile if he leaves it, so he has to be within the city.
Right. And he's not above ground somewhere, so... But she goes around the city trying to find him. All this time, she's also been trying to figure out some way to, get a leg up to basically... because she's convinced Shiro left her behind because she's not powerful enough to help him, which is not why he left her behind, but...
This, like I said, she got on my nerves a little bit.
But because, so she basically, well, I can't... It's like, okay, I can't do a raid on my own. I've never done a raid, so what I need is I need better gear and experience doing raids and shit. But I don't have gear to do that. I don't even have gear that's good enough to go on a raid. Really,
she spends all the time sitting in trees watching the other guilds train, or to try and pick stuff up without asking for help. Or she goes and just does the thing that all kids do when when you really want something. You go to the store that has it and you stand outside the window and stare at it for an hour.
She walks into a
weapon
I feel
shop. Called out here.
She goes into a weapon shop. Looks oh, look at all these these katana and such that would be perfect for me, except they are way outside my price range. Looks at the dwarf shop owner. I don't haggle. I didn't think so.
No.
And then it turns out that the royal guardsman who has her, that's where he got it. He bought it from her, from this dwarf shopkeep. Walked in ka-chunk, and Katsuki walks in and goes, "Huh, someone bought the sword. Darn, the sword she was looking at." By the way, Akatsuki has a little moment to, wow, if I'd actually been able to afford that might have been really bad, especially given my Levels of resentment I've
contentious
got towards some people right
relationship.
now.
Yeah.
Ooh, good. I think I dodged a bullet there. Because of my stupid petty sort of jealousy I have towards Minori, which shouldn't be there. I know it because I'm a goddamn adult. She's a kid. What the fuck is wrong with me? But yeah, so she's discovered this thing. She heard about this thing called the teachings, which is basically, I think another translation for it in the light novels are over skills, which are like super special, unique skills that very people are able to figure out.
They're basically skills that didn't exist in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like this is the thing. If you've never played an MMO, you know what your skills are going to be. You know what powers you're going to get. You know where your progression and where these abilities come in.
Yes.
And these are abilities that no one knows anything about. They just get given. And it's like, oh, you've done something cool. This is what it's called.
So it's similar to the bullshit unique skills that pop up in Sword Art Online, like Kirito's dual wielding. Yeah. Except there's a much fucking better explanation for it.
Yes, and it's so. The thing is, if you think about it, it's so fucking obvious.
Yeah.
It is absolutely, completely.
What is the one person trying to explain teachings to her goes? First thing you know about teachings that teachings are fucking stupid.
Oh, that's Nazuna. Sojiro's.
He was a lieutenant. I don't remember her name.
Yeah, Nazuna.
Yeah.
She's great. I love her. She's wonderful. Yeah, his effectively SO.
Yeah.
Also, right hand in his guild, and basically, second in command of the guild of Westwind. Honestly.
Yeah.
She's great. But yeah, Sojiro's like, yeah. So here's how you figure out training. You keep using your skills over and over again, training really hard, and eventually you figure some shit out. I can't actually explain it in words that make any goddamn sense. I'm sorry. I really wish I could. And Nazuna is basically, the biggest thing you learn about the teachings is they're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Because you eventually, and Akatsuki's like, I don't understand. She talks to like everybody who's got a training eventually. So basically, after she has a big confrontation on Christmas Eve with one of Sojiro's guild members gets taken out by this thing, and Sojiro is pissed.
Sojiro he's
pretty protective
boy.
of his. Yeah, he's more than a little protective of his droogs.
He sits there with this like, not creepy, but just like a really content smile on his face at all times. He's nice and humble and everything else.
He's very friendly for the most time.
Until one of his guild members gets hurt. His exclusively female guild, by the way.
Not exclusively.
Well, there is one, but
we know for a fact there's at least one gay guy in the guild.
Yes.
It also should be noted that pretty much everyone in that guild is carrying no small torch for the dude.
To the point where the senior members have to beat them off sometimes.
Yes.
With sticks.
The best part is, Sojiro, he has not recruited any of them for that reason.
No.
He's recruited all of them because they are good people that he likes and thinks will be good fit for the guild. He really wanted Shiro in the guild.
Yeah.
Like, he really wanted Shiro in his guild. He's like, Shiro is awesome. He's a good dude. He'd be a great fit for the guild. And, like, everyone else is like, all the guild members like, can we actually see Shiro with Sojiro? And they're all like, And Shiro's like, I wouldn't fit in that way. I mean, you're a good dude, Sojiro, but I didn't refuse because I don't like. There's a great scene in the first season where Sojir's like, I thought you didn't accept because you didn't like me. No, I didn't accept because I didn't like guilds because I was being a childish bitch. I'm sorry about that. I was being an asshole. But I found my own guild down. Sojir's like, oh, okay, cool. So it wasn't personal, not even a little bit. You're a good friend, dude. Oh. Okay, what do you need to help? So now Sojiro's like, someone's hurt my friend, one of my guild members, and therefore one of my friends. They have to die. They will know fear, they will know pain, and then they will die. The look on his face is a little
Yeah. Well, I mean, we get to that point, and it's like the one guild member's been taken out, and there's like two of the commanders and somebody else there like trying to pull her back, and this dude's like gonna take them all out because that's what he's been doing all night, just taking people out. And Sojiro just drops in with this dead, 1,000-yard stare, I am going to eat your soul kind of look on him, and just goes toe to toe with this dude, like, for a long while. I mean, he's a tank, so it's expected. But yeah,
Yeah, so was the girl who got in his guild who was taken out. She was their second best tank.
yeah,
She was caught off guard, mind you, and she's not Sojiro.
Sojiro is he's a samurai, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the main tanks of the debauchery Tea Party.
Yeah.
It's him and Natsuko, so Sojiro's kind of a badass.
He knows his shit.
Oh, does he? So, but
Again-
it's not going well for him. He's still losing when Akatsuki shows up.
Yeah, this is the thing that, again, this is the bit I was pointing out. It's like Sojiro is literally telling the other members of his guild to get the injured away and leave. You're only going to get in the way. If I'm buying you time to escape. If I try and disengage while you're there, he's going to kill you. Go. Akatsuki shows up and he's like, "Okay, yeah, you can help."
Well, I mean, he would have been fine with Nazuna helping. Like, I'm certain of that.
Probably.
But he needed her to protect the rest of the guild. Also, she can help from range and cast barrier shields on him because that's what she does. She's a shrine maiden. But Akatsuki drops in, assassinate. That didn't work. Fuck. And she's like, okay, dude, you run. I am way more expendable than you are, Sojiro. And he's like, yeah, but I'm a tank. I can hold aggro at least. You're not. If I don't hold aggro, he'll probably go after the rest of the guild. And she's like, fuck. All right, yeah, that's a point. So that's when Sojiro basically tells her what he knows about how to learn the training, because he's like, look, Your Shiroi is one of his best friends. It's also very clear he knows. Yeah, you're the love of Shiroi's life. And Shiroi is one of my best friends. Therefore, I'm giving you this as a Christmas present. I'm gonna tell you everything I know about teachings. I wish it was more. Boy, I wish it was more, because it would be really helpful right now.
But basically what we learn about teachings is that it's just you take what you already know and you apply it in a different situation, much like how it is in real life.
Yeah.
Except now it's with, you can cast barrier shields. Who says they have to be horizontal?
Yeah, or vertical.
Or vertical. Why can't you make them horizontal? Why can't you walk on them? Why you can't cast multiple ones and just walk around in the air? This is something someone does in the show.
Yeah, that's what Nazuna, that's Nazuna's teaching, it turns out.
Yeah.
Basically, everyone who picks up a teaching is their teaching won't work for anyone else because it's formed for the way you think.
Yeah.
It is personal because it is your personal design. It is basically, as I figured out, it's like my sort of take on it is, it's the realization that we are no longer playing an MMO, we're playing an tabletop RPG.
Yes.
Wait, I've got this power and this power. Can I use them this way? Well, the rules don't say you can't, so go ahead.
It's like, I mean, not to spoil the big thing with the Akatsuki, but it's like a case of, again, linking it to World of Warcraft, an actual MMO that exists. Rogues have a lot of speed boost powers that you can't use in combat.
What if you could use them in combat?
Yeah.
She eventually
limitation didn't exist.
So she dies. They lose the fight, and she dies. Apparently Shiroi dies also. They meet up in the sort of, the up on the moon, basically, where we get to see a little flashback to her previous life where she felt small and insignificant and pointless, and lost. This is the whole, learning that you suck thing.
Yeah.
But then she sort of comes clear and sees Shiroi there with her on the beach of this ocean on the moon, it's a really cool scene. And they basically have a little chat, and they offer up a little bit of their memories so they can go back and do the thing, because they lost, and both of them are like, yeah, we fucked up, but you know what? We're not going to give up now. Fuck it. So sure, Akatsuki goes back realizing that the thing she's fucked up is that she actually needs to ask for help. She has to acknowledge her own weaknesses that she does have, because she does have them, and actually get people to help her. It's like, I don't have the gear or the in-game knowledge of how to actually properly fight in a raid type thing, or against really super hard bosses. I need help. You need to learn this. because I've never actually gotten to yet, because and so she starts training with people who like are more experienced with how to play an assassin, other than how she's figured it out on her own. And she's figured out to the point on her own, to the point that Shiro thinks she's really good at it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we're not exaggerating when she's like. I mean, the other members of the other guilds we've seen are probably more competent combatants in a raid setting, solo 1-on-1, or just in regards to stealth.
Oh yeah,
and the fucking infiltration shit she pulls off.
Yeah. Well, she's a role player.
Yeah.
There is no ninja class in Elder Tale. She's a ninja.
Yeah. That's the thing. She's an assassin. She's a rogue class. She's turned it into a ninja.
Yes. But yeah, so the big lesson she learns during all this training is, yeah, you're small. And Akatsuki, like, I always felt sort of bad about that. She's always sort of felt sort of self-conscious about how small she is. But she's a very small person. And like they're like, dude, that's so useful when you're fighting big people. There's so many blind spots you can hide. And she's like, oh fuck, why didn't I think of that?
You're a tiny lethal blade, whirling dervish of death. It's like.
So she spends a lot of time training and getting a lot better at using her size disadvantage to turning it into an advantage. And eventually, like the dwarven the shopkeep who had sold the sword, who sold the sword to the dude, she feels kind of guilty about the whole like I sold the sword that's turned this guy into a monster. No one blames you, but except me. So I want to contribute, and Akatsuki's like. I actually kind of like and admire her. So I'm gonna. She eventually reforges a sword, a raid gear sword for Akatsuki to fit her size and stature. It's so basically
and rewrites the flavor text, so it's no longer horrifying.
Yeah. So yeah, basically they come up with a plan to actually take him out. They form sort of a raid party of basically. All these sort of, all the female adventurers in town who want to take this fucker out, because he's been primarily preying on women.
Yeah,
because that's part of the background flavor text of the thing.
Yeah, it's also the fact that West Wind are the guild; they're the only real guild left in town at the moment, anyway.
Right. Yeah, because most of DDD's combat people are out, fighting goblins. Yeah. And Isaac's guild is outside doing security in various other places.
The rest of the adventurers in town are either low leveled or they're focused on being merchants or creators or crafters or whatever else.
So a lot of these, it's West Wind Brigade and then people who want to help. Most of them are female. They put together. So, and Rise is being the strategist, and she comes up with a really fucking good plan.
Mm-hmm.
Implement a curfew so that no one's in the actual business district. We lure him to the business district, and we limit the amount of people fighting him at any point in time. When the fight gets too hard, Team 1 pulls out, another team goes in.
Yeah, basically, Akatsuki and Marielle kite him through different groups throughout the city. It's awesome.
Yeah.
See, okay, this team is running out of stuff. Drag him to the next team. Drag him to the next team. The big thing is that eventually Akatsuki's sword breaks. I think it's so she lands a good hit on him. Basically, I think it's right. It's either right before or right after she figures out her teaching.
Right.
It's before, I think.
It's right before that, yeah. So, yeah, the dwarf chick shows up and throws her basically, here, catch. This is for you. She messaged her via the telepathy thing. Says, come to here. I've got something for you after her sword breaks. She's like, okay, sweet. What? Oh, it's this raid sword that has been reforged to my size with new flavor text. And what does this thing do? Every time, so its whole thing is it basically rusts other metal weapons that it hits and armor and shit. So it basically debuffs weapons and like damage and defense of mobs that you hit with it, which is kind of cool.
Yes.
So Akatsuki basically she's fighting. She's like, I gotta go faster, and then she starts combining, her shadow movement and her,
speed buffs,
and all the out of combat sort of tracker stuff she does into combat, and she basically Shadow Clone Jutsus herself.
Pretty much, yeah.
And also there's a cloud of Akatsuki's attacking all at once.
Yes.
And she's like,
literally, like Peter said, she's just bouncing around saying, "No, faster, must go faster, must go faster, gotta go fast," and poof, 80 of her. What?
and she's like, "Oh, I just did combine this skill." She said, "There's a little skill box pops," and she looks and goes, "That's fucking stupid. Why did I?" Oh, that's what she meant.
Yeah. Use what you've got in new and interesting ways. There you go.
By the way, as an aside, when I referenced that it happened once in season 1, Shiro's contract thing is basically this. It's literally taking the game mechanics and doing something that the game mechanics don't say you can do. But since it's not a video game anymore, it means...
Doesn't say you can't either.
Right. So yeah, and that's why the adventurers start inventing, like, you creating things with the crafting system that they weren't able to do before.
Like steamships.
Right. So yeah, and so they finish off their plan, and they don't kill the guy. They freeze him, break his sword because of Akatsuki's new sword.
Right.
Yeah, it's like it does damage. Does what's it called? What's the word I'm looking
Condition
for?
damage.
Yeah, it does condition damage to the actual the weapon each time it clashes with another blade. So she clashes with it 80 times in the same fucking instant.
The best part about this is the other big thing is the other part of the plan is they at this point right before they drop right before Rise drops her ice nuke on him.
Yeah, that's an amazing scene.
Yeah.
That's when Lanessia has the Kunie clan turn off the magic circle because like the Round Table's like, yeah, we actually have plans to be able to hold off monsters. It's really just not that big a deal. It's like and
okay.
Our system of laws are at the point where the Royal Guard really aren't necessary anymore. So
they haven't been summoned in quite a long time. So yeah, don't worry about it.
Like seriously, like we're okay with that. Yeah, if it can stop someone from murdering players every night, we're down with that. It's okay. Thank you for bringing this to us, this up to us, Lanessia. Okay.
Yeah, they drop the magic circle and then Rise drops her eat shit and dicycle on him.
Bicycle.
That's good, Gav. And that's what. Then afterwards, Akatsuki, as he's frozen in place, breaks his sword.
Yeah, just walks up and goes, "Tink, shatter," which releases the curse, and he's like, "Where am I?"
Afterwards, all the raid members have a pajama party at Crescent Moon.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, at Venessia's palace. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. We should probably get back to Shiro's.
The one thing I want to mention, which is my favorite bit, is all of the girls there in their pajamas and all looking adorable as fuck, and Henrietta is passed out from the overcute overload.
Yes.
Was it this bit or the bit where they had her dressed up as Santa and reindeer, where Henrietta dives at Akatsuki and she throws off a decoy?
It was somewhere. It was either the first one or between them.
Yeah.
Apparently, Akatsuki is now carrying a small Akatsuki dolls to decoy Henrietta away from her.
So yeah, we swap over to at this point we swap over to back in time a bit to Shiroe's group and Silver Sword, who are trying the raid, and they're doing raid stuff. It's a new raid, so they're figuring out boss timings and all this stuff. Things like that are happening as usual. They get to one of the later bosses in the thing. This is where the bit where we mentioned the raid bosses all convene. That happens. Like they're like we've got this boss its mechanics figured out, and why is that wall coming down? And why is another raid boss walking in? And why is a third raid boss walking? Fuck, party wipe.
Which has a significant blow to morale more than anything else.
Yeah, it's a big morale blow because like all the other like partial wipes we can figure out how to work around this. It's great, etc. How the fuck do we handle 3 raid? No, fuck that. That's bullshit. The game's cheating. Fuck, it's not a game, right? Shit. Oh, we forgot to mention the other person they brought in along with Tetra for this was Demikos.
Yes, who comes along, who still has a big grudge against Shiro, but has otherwise mellowed quite a bit.
Yep.
He's actually like gone off and gotten married to one of the people of the land, who, if you remember from last season, he was largely treating as things because he didn't realize they were sapient beings, and was basically living out his his best bandit king life as a big old badass villain.
Yep. And then Shiroi and Natsuko and Yanta basically kick his sorry ass.
Yeah.
And Akatsuki too. Don't forget her. She was very important. She gacked all the support mages.
Yes. So he's been throughout the entire raid thing. He's been having issues with Shiro, and it's been building up, and eventually he's just. So William, the leader of during this big time of low morale, William basically gives a big long speech about like, yeah, everyone says it's just a game, but it's real to me. Da 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 da. It's a decent enough speech. It takes up most of an episode.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's largely it's just a game, and like in the real world, and it's not important, but it's important to us. God damn it! And because it's important to us, it's important. And we lost, but so what? We just try. We fucking try again. What's the worst? It's like fuck that. We're not giving up. It's like he basically does says he goes through a whole sort of emotional arc through this too, because he's figuring out there's a lot of bullshit going on. People there's a lot of there's some pushback against what he's saying, especially from Demikos, who's like, okay, look, I'm okay. Like, if there's a chance to actually win, I'm fine with trying again. But if there isn't, what's the fucking point? And
right.
It looks pretty fucking impossible to me. And I forget exactly William's argument for why we should try again anyways. But shortly after that, Shiroi comes up and is like, yeah, okay.
I think I've got a plan now.
So first off, I need to tell you everything about why we're doing this, because I should have told you this a while ago, but I've been a complete asshole about that. Sorry. God damn it, I didn't trust you guys enough because I'm a goddamn idiot. I'm bad at this, okay?
The plan is not revealed until they get through all of this, but the plan is basically like...
No, it's not revealed to us. Apparently, he tells them what the actual plan is.
Yeah, and everyone's on board because like, oh, that's a really good plan, and it fixes a lot of potential problems, and yeah, I'm on board.
Also, but can we do it? Well, I've come up with a possible way to handle the situation. What are our odds? At best 15%, probably 5. That sounds like it's mathematically possible.
Oh, 15%? That's only like 8 times? Yeah, we can do that.
At worst, it's 5, and that's if things go really badly. If some other bullshit thing happens that we're not expecting, like another random boss shows up. So here's what we're going to do. And he explains the plan. They're all like, that is daft. And it shouldn't work. But 3 raid bosses shouldn't show up either. So what the fuck? Let's try it.
What's the worst that can happen?
We get gacked by a bunch of raid bosses all at once. Wait, that's already happening. So his plan is basically get that boss, fight it just long enough for it to go through its first bullshit phase, then bust down the gateway to the next boss room and ditch him. So yeah, we're not going to actually we're not going to actually really fight him. We'll go to the next room, kite that boss over to this area here, so that just in case the third raid boss comes to help, we can send a 1 tank to tie him up with some dedicated healers over there, so their area effects don't overlap. So then we'll focus fire this one down and then take the other one. And it's it's like, wow, and Shiro's like, yeah, the reason it's going to be impossible is it's going to be really tricky aggro management and positioning. Because if we all screw up our positioning, their AoEs are going to overlap and they'll double aggro, and then we're fucked.
Yeah, it's literally a case of like the room we're going to fight them in is just big enough to have their AoEs at either sides of the room with a small gap in the middle where they don't overlap.
And it's the only one big enough to pull this. To pull this off.
And this is going to be this is also going to be hard as fuck on our tanks.
Yeah.
Because at one point, we're not going to be able to have all of them trading aggro off on the one boss we're fighting. So yeah, this is gonna suck. Also, Natsuko and I are gonna go pull out our specialized gear for fighting these two particular bosses. One moment, please. So sure, that staff looks a little different. Holy fucking shit! What the hell is that thing?
Yeah, we'll pull out our actual.
So they have
gear.
to fight. The ads from the first bullshit boss show up. So Demicast snatches up Shiro and ends up kiting all the ads. And this is where Demicast and Shiro have their reckoning, in that basically they're like, okay, I'm an asshole. Well, I'm also an asshole. So we can be assholes together. We can be assholes together.
See,
Okay.
I don't like you. You don't like me.
Not at all.
See, we are never going to be friends. We are never going to let each other. But we can at least work together. Just fucking acknowledge my existence properly, dude. Oh, you're
I'm
Demikos.
sorry, Susan. That was a bad. That was bad.
Sorry, Demikos.
And we'll stop calling you Demikos. You will be Susan now. It's okay.
It's okay. I can write the contract to change your name.
Right. I'm gonna go take these guys off. You can die here for all I care. Bye.
Right.
Whoosh.
By the way, I just happened to drop you off at the last room where the goal is. So, take care of that.
Yeah. So good luck. Hopefully you don't. I hope you die to a boss in there. Fuck you. Bye. It's very clear. It's a very I really hope you pull this off. But if you do get killed by a boss in there, I'm not gonna be that upset. I'll mostly laugh at you because we don't like each other. But I gotta respect your bullshit, dude. Like, Jesus Christ, you're good at this bullshit. I will say,
Shiro opens up. He meets the last boss, which is one of the Kunine clan members, and
with a raid boss backing him up.
With a raid boss backing him up, and Shiro's like, so here's the cunning plan. The cunning plan is I take all of your money. How is this good for us? Because then I use it to buy all of the real estate I can. And then I sell it back to you so it belongs to you and no one else.
So what he does is, the first thing he does is, here's the contract for the guild hall in Akihabara. I revoke the contract and return the guild hall to the server itself. Poof. So now we have 5 million gold back in our pockets.
We don't have to pay the upkeep, and it can't be bought out from under us by some asshole guild.
I'm going to do the same thing to the cathedral and everything else. Now here's my plan. I want to take all the gold here to buy all the remaining possible land in existence in the Yamato server, and then return it all back to the Yamato server. But what about buying buying property is a fine thing. I'm okay with that. But that can just be handled by contracts between people. We don't need the game server to enforce it. That's stupid. I'm removing the stupid bullshit superpowers of buying property. You okay with this? It'll be good for the people of the land because now they can buy property too. And the Kudai clan representative is like, oh fuck, why didn't... Wow, fuck, that's awesome.
Plan. That's a really good plan. We should have thought of that. But we did not because...
of an ancient treaty.
I'll get into later on.
Because of an ancient treaty.
Actually, I don't know if they're capable of it, honestly.
I don't think they are.
Because what we find out later with the B team about the people of the land and the nature of music in this world makes me wonder if they're capable of that kind of...
I don't know.
Those kinds of intuitive leaps.
They might not be. They might...
really existentially terrifying, and they don't touch on nearly enough.
Yet, at least. Who knows what will happen in Season 3?
Yeah.
I will say, Linesia shows some fairly good lateral thinking from time to time.
Yes.
So I think they're capable of it. It's just that there are certain things they don't do because it's always been this way.
Right. It's just never occurred to them to do so.
Right. But at any rate, and also I think the Kudai clan seem much more rigid and dogmatic than most people of the land.
Yeah, they're pretty
bordering on robotic.
They have more than a few inanimate carbon rods shoved up their asses.
Yes. So yeah, that's Shiro's plan. And then the raids won, and like they all get the stuff, and William's like, okay, so I'm guildmaster, the way we operate is that I hand out the loot. Here's this really kick-ass piece of enchanter loot. It's going to Shiro. Any objections? I didn't think so.
No? Okay, cool.
Because he fucking deserves this. Any objections? Looks at Demikos. Demikos like, whatever. I can't use it.
Sell it.
I will say, the flashback scene where we see Demikos first meeting his future wife is goddamn awesome. Because he's in a rage and is pissed off and is like about to smack her because hit her, basically take her out because she's in his way. And she looks at him. She's like, "Dude, if you're gonna kill me, just do it. Get it over with." And he's like, fuck, I'm in love." Because she's like, she is taking none of his bullshit. He's like,
She's taking none of his shit, and she isn't being like all uppity about it. She's just being very matter of fact. Like, "You're gonna kill me, fine, but I've got work to do. So if you just move aside, that'd be great.
I would like to get back to actually doing the cleaning you're paying me to do."
Fuck, she's awesome.
God, it's like it's that look of, I've just been smitten by the love bug. Huh. And the best part is like the later flashback like bits where you occasionally see him with her. It is goddamn adorable the way he interacts with her, because it's very clear he is very much in love with her. It's very clear she's like
She tolerates him.
Well, no, she clearly loves him back. It's just that she's minor nobility is what it turns out. So, and she's very much like, "Yes, dear, It's very much she tolerates his bullshit at this point. Because she's like, "Yeah, okay, I know you're just being braggadocious because that's the way you are. I know you don't actually mean this shit." But yeah, so that's basically the first arc is those two things happening simultaneously. The second arc is the B team going off on their little adventure.
Yes.
Which leads into existential crisis and a possible big overarching thing. B team is basically, hey, we're gonna go. Basically, Cheryl was like, okay, I want the younger members of my guild and Sarah, because she's friends with them, they adventure together a lot. They want to go off and do get the magic bag quest, and I think it's a great time for them to do that. And Marielle's like, "Sweet, I'm totally down with that. Yeah, of course Sarah can go with them." So they plan this big adventure together, and they go off and do it, and they're going to have to get themselves basically a Heward's handy haversack.
Yeah, and they're as they're going along, they're hanging out their cart that they bought with their summoned horses, and they're playing in various like inns and taverns because Zuzu's a bard. She's like, "We can do a band, and it'll be awesome, and we'll go on a tour. It'll be great."
Zuzu's because she loves playing music. She doesn't really consider herself like particularly special as a musician, but she's
got the same problems as Akatsuki.
I think she might. It's not quite to that level. She in this world, she's very much one of the very best. But her dad is legitimately a legitimate music pro.
Yeah,
like he's done a bit of touring, and now he's a top flight studio musician. So she's like, "Yeah, I know what a real what a professional musician is like. I'm not there.
Yeah.
But she loves playing music, and it's like she just has very high standards for what a pro actually should be.
Yeah. Well, she's constantly comparing herself against her father. So
yeah,
it's there's some similarities there between her and what Akatsuki's problem is, but it's less of a problem for her, really.
Yeah. And she doesn't let it get in the way of her doing shit.
Right, exactly. And she knows she's good, and she also is very aware she's good at shit.
And, they're always received very well because she's playing, covers from, back in her world and whatnot. And and at some point, Rudy's like, "So, you know what you're doing, right?" And she's like, "What do you mean? What am I doing?" "Okay, so you've heard me refer to the 42, right?" "Yeah, I'm not sure what that means, but I get it. So the 42 are the songs."
It's a weird casual thing. We see them go to a town and they offer to play, and she's like, "Oh, you," and it's like the owner says something on the lines of, "Oh man, we don't get much of the 42 around here," and he just glances over it and never really bring it up until Rudy points it out.
Yeah, and Rudy's like, "So you've heard us refer to the 42, right?" It's like, "Yeah." "I'm not sure exactly what that means." "Okay, so if I said 7 in a rainbow, what do you think?" "Well, the 7 colors in a rainbow." "Right. So if I say 42 in songs, what do you think?" I'm not sure how they're related." "Well, there are only 42 songs." "What do you mean there are only 42 songs?" "There are only 42 songs ever. That's what they gave us."
That's what the gods gave us.
That's what the gods gave us. "And you don't make new ones? Do you make new colors?" "Wait, so when you're giving us new you're giving us new colors."
Here's the color Snurple.
Yeah, she's breaking their programming.
And she has this sort of existential crisis, and so am I, because like, Jesus Christ, what a horrible world. Because it's a limit on their creativity, it's a limit on their ability to make those kinds of intuitive leaps, and it's unsure whether it's just cultural or whether it's baked in. And yeah, that's got some pretty terrifying implications there.
Yeah.
Whether and they just don't explore it enough, and hopefully they'll do some more in season 3, because
I mean, I think they
Yeah.
might, because I mean, obviously, take it into like bring it around to its other natural progression. As the season goes on, they start teasing about the possibility of a war.
right,
The East versus the West, basically, which is a long-standing war within the game. It's one of the main driving factors. It's Alliance versus Horde.
Yeah.
And they, and it's always been threatening to break out, but never really does. And there's events and things that happen every now and again. But again, it's stirring up now, and there's talk there might be a war, because again, there's the adventurers and their influences over the people of the land. If there was ever, think of it this way, if there was ever a war with the people of the land and the adventurers, then not only have the adventurers have the advantage of immortality, but they can in theory out evolve warfare wise the people of the land as well. Like, they could never come up with the steamship. They
Right.
could never come up with the flying fucking train that the West end up getting. All these other different things, because it's creativity is not built into them.
At least not that
we
we've
think,
seen.
We think like they'll certainly like copy, like they'll
Like
see an adventurer do something, go, oh, that's actually possible.
They can copy,
I can
but
do that.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
We have
But
not
we
yet
don't see them
seen
make
with-
any leaps themselves.
The one reason I think that they might be capable of doing that is the one dude in Minami, in Plant Wyden, the weird old dude with the pointy ears, who is a person of the land,
scientist.
who it seemed to be implied is it had created at least one of the devices they were using.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So I think it's rare but possible. I think that there are rare individuals. Like Regan's another example.
Mm.
He thinks about magic differently than anyone else in the world, because he's breaking down in different scales, as opposed to, because he's doing the whole tactical, strategic, national, world class magic, as opposed to
Right.
necromancy, pyromancy, etc. So I think it's possible, but it's just sort of doesn't happen very often for people of the land. It's sort of a creative geniuses show up every now and then to come up with something.
Sure, and
But
I accept that
literally
looks
just
good
occurred
for
to me.
them. That does look good for them, and it's something that neither of us have thought of before. But like, seriously, you never thought of another song? You never decided on a different way to hoe your fields? Like, you never tried to improvise something? This is all, yeah.
Well, to be fair, as we find out, they didn't actually exist for all that long ago.
That's true.
Like, all their backstory is all backstory. So we'll get to that in a second. One important bit that happens here is we do flash over to China briefly, where we meet up with what's her name?
A very special girl.
Oh, she's great.
She's
We
great.
still go over to Kanami,
Yeah.
the former leader of the debauchery Tea Party, who left the game to move to Europe and start a new job. And apparently, after she'd been over there for a while and had a kid, she decided to start playing again. And then the apocalypse happened, and she was in the game, and she said, well, nobody around here, apparently most people who are stuck in the world are in Japan, because the thing happened when the Japan servers when the patch was being applied to the Japanese servers. So that's when more people were on live, and everyone else was basically not in sort of waiting mode.
Yeah, they find out that they didn't actually roll it out worldwide because something went wrong with the Japanese
Yeah.
They were
server.
rolling it out at midnight whenever it was midnight for each server, basically. And midnight, it happened first in Japan, and it was basically go around the world from there.
I think
and
they
she's
do
like,
say that. I think there's like Australia. I think it's Japan, Australia, and China is about as far as it got.
but yeah, people outside those servers, there are some people who were logged in when the apocalypse happened, so they were pulled in also.
Yes.
But, like Kanami and Leonardo.
Yep.
Leonardo was on the American server and basically like, well, almost, and I'm gonna bug up because it's kind of shitty here for the people who are here. Kanami's like, well, none of my people from here on the European server are here. I bet Shiroe was in game when this happened. I'm gonna go to Japan.
Really, someone I know. Let's go to Japan.
Well, it's not just that. It's if Shiroe was in game, he'll be able to help me because, goddammit, he's my tour guide and he's better at figuring this shit out than I am. And I'll just set a goal for that, and he'll get us there because that's the way we work. So I'm going to Japan. How am I going to get there? Time to start walking.
I'm just gonna walk to
They
Japan.
end up putting together a group with it's like her, Leonardo,
Basically, she keeps stumbling across people and recruiting them into her party.
and it does not at all represent look anything like Journey to the West, except in the opposite direction.
So yeah, her party consists of her, Leonardo, who is who's an assassin from the America server, who is totally not a Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles XP. Nope, not at all. He's a frog.
Because he's a frog. Duh.
Yeah, and he fights with 2 swords, not 1.
Leo fights with 2 swords a lot now.
Shut up. And also he says cowabunga. That's totally not Leonardo.
Yeah, it's true. That's Mikey all the way.
to be fair, he fights like Leo. He's got an attitude like Raph.
And he uses Mikey's catchphrase, yes.
He uses Mikey's catchphrase. We're just waiting for something Donatello.
That'll never happen. He's not nearly that smart.
No. He's going to turn out he's like one of his job classes is crafter or something.
So yeah, Capellia, who is a cleric who fights with 2 shields, and
Which is
dresses
not
like a
unique.
maid.
We've seen background characters doing similar stuff.
Yeah, but as an aside, turns out she's a Chinese gold farming bot that's become sentient.
Yeah, so that's not an angle that we're going to need to look into at some point.
Yep. And the 4th member of the party is Elias Hackblade, who's one of the who is the game's mascot character. He's on the cover of the game.
Yeah, so basically, like, again, linking it to D&D, World of Warcraft, it's it's her, it's Konami, it's a dude she met on a different server, a gold farming bot that's achieved sentience, and Thrall.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he is busted as all fuck. He has ridiculous overpowered skills. He is level 100. Also, none of his abilities are capable of dropping anybody to less than like 10% health. Because his role in game was he's the guy who's there to help fight alongside the players, but he can't get the final blow because that'd be taking things away from the players.
Yep.
But like Konami, like they're all fallen in because just through they all fall in love because Konami's helped them, and she has massive force of personality on her side.
Yeah.
She is one of the most ridiculously charismatic people in this show. Like, I totally buy why people would just follow her instinctually.
Yeah.
Just out of just sheer force of, we're going here and it'll be fucking awesome. But that's insane. We'd be fighting like a legion of monsters. Cool. What? We'll figure it as we go. What? Her character is totally not based on Tifa, by the way. Nope, not at all.
She is not a Tifa
She's
in any way, shape,
Sun
or
Wukong in Tifa's body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, she's also less of a jerk than Sun Wukong usually is.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, Song Wukong is a little
Kind of a dick.
self-centered.
She's not
It's like-
self-centered, really, is the weird thing. At least she doesn't
And if-
intend to be.
And if you wasn't, this wasn't. If you weren't absolutely 100% sure this isn't Journey to the East, the very next like stinger that we get is an artist rendition of them all in character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this show like it breaks up the halfway point with like an art piece of them of something, usually either chibified or something going on. And in this particular episode, it's the four of them in Journey to the East.
Oh, don't forget that they're joined by, I forgot to mention, KR, who's one of the other members of the Debauchery Tea Party, who's living in Minami, like a few of them are in Plant Wyden, has done the whole. Basically, he sent one of his summons out over to China and his body swapped with it. He's basically what he did is he put himself in the body of a summon over there because he's doing basically it's his teaching basically. It's what I can tell. And eventually does the whole castle teleport thing that summoners can do, but on a grand scale because cheating. But yeah, so he's over there in the form of a horse, just to continue the journey to the west. Stuff. And it seems to be resigned to the fact the economy is going to be using him as a mount, but is mildly annoyed that anybody else is. He's like, yeah, economy. Of course she's going to be. Yeah, I'm not going to argue. There's no point in arguing with economy about this sort of thing. Like, I would be more annoyed, except that she's.
Except she's an old droog, so
No, I love her to death. Honestly, she's one of my oldest friends.
So yeah, you even have the horse that's actually something very powerful.
Yeah.
That never actually does anything. Because apparently dragons are too cool to get involved in all these fights with demons.
It was fighting the other dragon. The other bigger dragon. And we don't get to see the rest of the big fight because that's when the episode ends. But yeah, basically we get a little insight to what Kanami's up to and that she's coming to Japan because fuck it. Shiro is going to be up to something interesting in Japan. I'm going to go find out what that is because Shiro is always up to something interesting. And he's almost certainly in game. Like, there is zero chance he wasn't logged in when this happened. Zero. And she was right because she actually, So yeah, anyways, so Plant Wyden is doing some bizarre, sketchy shit to help power level the people of land in the guild. It involves basically projecting their consciousness into monsters and using the monsters to fight shit and spirit monster things called nightshades. But
then channeling the XP that they earn into adventurers.
Well, no, they're doing it to the people of land.
They're power loving the people of land. This is the whole thing about the war, the brewings of the war, because the West are power leveling their soldiers.
Right, yeah. And apparently, it works, but apparently it is kind of sketchy and dangerous. We don't know the full details of why, but we know that the members of the adventure members of Planet Wyden who are not complete assholes are like, yeah, I'm not entirely on board with this, but I'm not going to argue with it because Intex is a scary bitch, and we might need this, and we might need it, but let's not I'd rather not risk the people land restlessly. Despite the fact that the high potentate, the quote shogun, is saying this is cool and she's totally down with it because she's kind of a psycho bitch.
I never would have imagined that. That's
dear
crazy.
Lord, she's psychotic.
She's a psycho bitch.
And yet I like her better than I like Intex.
Yeah, well,
Intex is a gaslighting cunt.
Yes.
So, there's no other word for it. She is a gaslighting cunt.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Intex I don't use that word lightly,
no.
But yeah.
So Intex is another former member of the Debauchery Tea Party who has a negative view on Kanami and Shiroe for various reasons. Apparently she doesn't like Kanami. We don't know the full details exactly why. I've read a few of them, but they're not brought up in the show. And she keeps referring to Shiroe as a traitor. And she hates his guts. The nominal leader, Plant Wyden, is we met her last season. What's her name? Crap. Nureha.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nureha is she's the fox enchanter, the fox person enchanter, whom Shiroe basically who tried to seduce Shiroe and kind of bounced. I think partially due to the fact her timing was apocalyptically bad. Basically, there are a number of people who basically like, yeah, I want to get with Shiroe, but he already has Akatsuki. Shit.
Oh well.
And I love that Shiroe's like, yeah, I don't remember you, but you said I told you were a good enchanter. If I did, I meant it, because I don't say that shit lightly ever. I don't pass out compliments at hand. If I said it, that means you were good. And yeah, so Nureha still has a bit of a thing is still carrying a torch for him. But she's got a sort of a sordid past from what we understand. From what I've read, she's an ex-prostitute. She was a prostitute in the real world. And yeah, Intex is using that sort of thing to basically, gaslight her and control her, and use her as a figurehead for the guild, because she's very pretty and she's an enchanter and has sort of a natural charisma about her to a certain degree. But Nureha is basically sort of, using her sort of insecurities against her to control her. This looks like it might end up biting Intex in the ass later.
Oh no! Oh
darn!
Terrible.
Because it's very clear that there are a lot of members of the guild who are there following Nureha and not Intex. Like the Debaucher Tea Party people are like, yeah, we're here with Intex because she's a former guildie, and I kind of want to like. It's pretty clear that Kazuhiko and KR are like, we're trying to like steer Intex away from the dark side, like because she's an old friend. Come on.
Stop being crazy. Stop being crazy. So there's this whole thing involving so there's a whole thing where the Wyverns that the B team is hunting come to them due to these asshole shenanigans.
Yep.
And basically raid the town they're hanging out in. The local adventurers guild,
that guild's actually from Hawaii, is from Minami also.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yep. The Odyssey Knights, they're technically Plant Wyden members. They're just sort of a group within them, and they've got a device that was invented by Plant Wyden, a portable cathedral.
So you just reset the weird, not a 40K looking relic at all,
which interferes with the in-game player-to-player telepathy thing. Party chat still works, but yeah, it's unsettling and it's ooky. Like the B team all look and go, there's something wrong with that thing.
Yeah.
The other important bit is they meet up with Row 2, who is a female enchanter who's got the vampire subclass, which apparently sucks wildly. And she kind of wants to get rid of the subclass, but she's planning on retraining it, but she can't do it where she is. And her outfit looks strangely familiar. She's wearing the same sort of a high-end raid gear robe that Shiroe wears.
Yep, the same. It's I've forgotten her name now. Some useless with names. Minami, is it? Recognizes it as
Minori.
Minori, sorry. Is that the robe of blah, 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 blah?
Robe of the Archmagi or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, you got a good eye. I know somebody who uses the same gear.
Yeah, she's wearing basically the same outfit Shiroe starts the show wearing.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the same robe. She's got the same sort of turtleneck and such. Wielding a similar-looking staff. And she wears glasses and has sort of she looks... She really looks like she might be Shiroe's sister.
Yeah.
Except that she's got
a
fangs.
gender swapped Shiroway, really.
Kind of.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I wonder why. Yeah, it's not like she's one of Shiroe's alts. Nope, not at all.
She's totally one of Shiroway's alts.
She actually is one of Shiroe's alts that's been possessed by an alien. I'm not actually joking about that. Yeah, because so we find out as this goes on. So eventually she ends up helping out, and whenever she goes on long pontificating things. The one thing is that like someone, one of the B team offhandedly refers to as Big Sister, and she's like, "Oh my God, I love that. Yes, please.
You should call me that all the time.
Can I be your big sister? I really like that. I like that, the idea of actually having that kind of relationship with somebody, like a familial relationship with somebody. That's so cool. And that would make Shirley my big brother. That's kind of cool too. Neat. Yeah, she's delightfully weird.
Yeah.
She
also keeps forgetting she's a vampire.
Yes, which is hilarious. I can't take the sun. But yeah, but yeah, she goes on long diatribes from time to time that are bizarre, confusing, and don't make any sense. And it's almost like she has trouble speaking like a human. Almost as if, yeah. So eventually she eventually helps out. We find out that the Odyssey Knights, they're sort of obsessed with trying to go home. And a lot of people are basically, like, that whole sort of, depressed listeners are sort of coming over Akabara again. Because people are burning out on the novelty of being here. And some people are like, I just want to go home. I don't want to be here. I don't want to adventure anymore. I don't want to do all this shit. I just want to go home with my wife and kids.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of this stuff. And, like, the leader of Honesty, one of the bigger guilds in town, is like, we need to do something. Because there are a lot of people who are just sort of dropping out and kind of becoming, neats, effectively. And we need to support them somehow. Can we, like, tax the rich and give them money? And, like, a bunch of people are objecting. And Shiro is like, yeah, we could do that. That's not going to solve the actual problem, though. It's like, I get it, but it's not going to solve the problem we're actually having. Well, it's not that they're being lazy. No, they want to go home. Except Shiro doesn't say that out loud because he's bad at this.
Yeah.
But yeah, he eventually figures out that they want a way home. I've been looking into this, and then so after the B team does the whole thing, the Odyssey Knights want to go home, and the way and every time you die, you get a flash of the way you were in the real world. Remember,
they're basically just throwing themselves into impossible situations over and over and over again.
So they can, and because they're thinking maybe if we die enough, we'll get to go home.
Yeah.
And worst case, we at least get a flash of the real world.
They've gone full on Warboy.
Yeah.
Quite literally, we live, we die, we live again.
Yeah. It's really and the way they charge the combat, like, the B team are watching, they watch them just, like, charge in and just die. They're all like, what the fuck?
Why are they doing that? They're barely making a dent in This is so inefficient.
Yeah,
I find
it's
it
not even
creepy.
just inefficient. It's creepy the way they're doing it too.
It's like the mages, they comment like the mages are not even trying to hold their aggro, and the tanks couldn't give a monkeys. It's
like you actually hear like the tanks going, "I'm envious of your paper thin armor" to the mages.
Yeah,
it's like the fuck. And then they start like trying to lure the monsters back into town to make it a bit more efficient, and such. And Toei's like, okay, dudes, that defeats the purpose of trying to protect the town. What the fuck? But yeah, there's a lot of weird shit that goes on in this. It's a neat arc. It's hard to explain what's going on in it without going into really a lot of detail. Is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the more complicated things. So the other person they meet is, it's Nerea in disguise as a bard, as a people land bard.
That's not a spoiler. We literally see her transform into this.
Yeah.
She's
not even a bard. She's just a wandering person of the land.
Well, she is a bard in the sense of a bard in the sense of lowercase b.
She's a skald. Yeah.
She's a traveling.
She is not a skald. She is not carrying enough weapons or armor to be a skald.
She is legitimately just a traveling,
remembrance.
storyteller, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's a bard. She's just not a
just not with the class.
right. Except she's actually an adventuring enchanter, pretending to be a bard with her broken overlay skill that's her teaching. You see, wow, this is an illusion that you can't penetrate with any skills in the game. How the fuck did you figure that out, Shiroway? I'm very good at what I do. Oh. But yeah, Nerea, there's so she's sort of observing them. She realizes that the kids are part of Log Horizon. She's like, I wonder if they're special like Shiroway. No, it doesn't seem to be. And then she has a little conversation with Toya, and she's like, you seem a little off-put by me, Toya. What is it? No, I don't dislike you. It's just, I don't like it when you smile like that. What do you mean?
It's fake. It's obviously fake.
I'd like you better if you weren't. It didn't make it look like you were lying all the time. She's like, oh fuck. Okay, it's not just Shiroway.
Yeah.
Okay. This kid, I like this kid. It's another person who's seen the actual person she is, and it's not like he likes the fake overlay, the fake version of her better. It's like, no, you'd be better if you were just honest about who you are. It's like, oh fuck. So she decides, yep, I'm going to send some people to help them out and deal with the wyverns and these nightshades, and I'm going back home to put my house in order. Is I think sort of what she's thinking about doing.
Resolve, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she goes back and like there's a scene with Intex where she basically says, "Yeah, no, we're suspending the war with the war that's going to be happening. There's too much shit going on with these moths and all this other shit. So no, we are not going to antagonize Akihabara right now, Intex. Don't you remember who I am? I'm going to beat you up." And like Kazuhiko's like, "No, you're not. That would be stupid right now."
See, the thing is, though, that was a clever little thing I think they did there, because the first interaction we see between those two is Intex like running her down, literally doing the whole gaslighting. She knows her past, she knows her history. She's there in a darkened room with her, saying, no one's going to believe you. No one would believe a disgusting woman like you that does filthy things, and like proper running her down. It's unreal, and like, and she doesn't fight back. She doesn't. And she makes the odds. Oh, I can do this. No, you can't. You can't do that. Women like you can't do those kind of things. Those are for women with actual class, and really fucking like laying into it.
Oh, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And at this point, obviously, we've seen now Nerea's got a little bit more resolve, and Intex, starts it up again. And clearly she's not afraid of doing it around other people.
Yep.
But before Nerea can respond, a third party stops Intex. That confrontation is still to come.
Oh, yeah. But the other thing is that you can tell Intex starts running her down, and Nerea does not look like she's buying it right now.
No, that's the thing. And I think, like I say, it would have happened. I think that was a bit of a tease. That was coming until it got stopped by, like I say, from an outside party. That's coming. That's going to be
well, no, Kazuhiko rightly realized that if Intex strikes Nerea right now, our entire guild falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes the people who want to work with Intex and the people who support Nerea, because there are people who support Nerea, and we fall apart, and we are fucked.
Well, you get the idea that the majority of the chief guildies, the ones that knew everything before, they know full well what's going on.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, the last bit that happens is the last few episodes. So after the whole thing, Rotu gives Minori a letter to give to Shiroway. And basically it's her explaining what the fuck is actually going on.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Shiro. So I am not human. She explains that she's a part of this sort of artificially created alien race that handles this resource called empathions. And she's like, here's the deal, kinda. This whole world thing, and you guys being here is sort of a way to actually us to generate and capture empathions. But it's not going the way we really were planning on it. We weren't really planning on getting this many humans here, like not permanently. So yeah, if you are able to contact us on the moon, we'll be able to try to get you home.
It's beginning to look a lot like Trigger.
To be fair,
Again, I'm going to reiterate. More like Darling in the Franks. Come on, dude.
and also, as I'll point out, also this is earlier in the story than in Darling the Franks, and they've been laying the groundwork for it. It is not completely out of left field.
Also, no one's turned into a giant mechanical waifu.
Not yet. Give it a chance.
I don't think it's going to. It is pretty clear that this is sort of where things have been leading the whole time.
I mean, yeah, we've had moments on the moon already, you know,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So, and they did reference that the moon was actually part of the test server,
Right.
Yeah.
which
Also,
is why, you know,
sure,
that's where
it's
where yeah, she's not technically his alt.
She's a character he made on the
she's-
test server, yeah.
She's his test server prototype.
Yeah. He's like, it was basically him going, I'm going to try to summon her, and let's see what the vampire's lip glass is like. Well, on the moon it kicks ass, but, yeah, normal weather cycle's going to fuck with this. Yeah, I'm not going to use this on the real server. Scribe sees it work better. I can make maps and shit. That'll be really useful. Oh, dear Lord, it's going to be useful because of economy. God damn it. He's my tour guide. Oh, my God. Shiro, find me something. We're going to go to this awesome place over here. Figure out how to get us there. Okay. Yeah, sure. Actually, it does sound like a lot of fun to get there. It also sounds like it's a lot of work for me to figure out how to do it. Oh, I've been given another impossible quest by Konami. Fine. It'll be fun for everybody.
Fun for all the family.
It's an excuse to hang out with my friends and Intex. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure he thought of her as a friend. From what I understand, it's not the other way. She never liked him, apparently. And I can understand why someone might think Shiroway's kind of a cold fish and kind of an asshole, but
Yeah, I can get it. I can get not liking someone.
yeah. But at any rate, so yeah, so he's like, yeah, okay, well, we need. All right, so Roderick, how would we build a communicator to the moon?
What now?
What now? Okay, I think I might know how to do it, but it would cost all the money in the world and then some. Fuck.
Largely because we'd have to refine a whole bunch of rare earths, which I'm not sure actually exist in this world. But
Yeah.
we'd have to buy up or find, and it's going to be expensive.
Oh, hey, Regan's back. How's your investigation of the gates? Pretty good. So what are you up to? Well, we're trying to build a communicator to reach the moon. What about the communicator in the over here in this place, in the old Shuisa Tower? Yeah, we know about that, but we assume it's been broken. The whole tower's broken. We assume it doesn't work. Actually, I was getting a signal. I was investigating weak signal from when I was investigating the gates. What? Sweet. We should totally go there. What are these moth things?
Yeah, so basically 1,000 Mothras attack. Tiny Mothras. They're only like
Yeah,
6 foot wide.
We do get a little mini side arc, just an episode or two, I think it is, where I've forgotten his name now.
Sojiro?
Isaac.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
Isaac is off with the people of the land where Lanesia's from, taking over from Krusty because Krusty isn't around at the moment. And he's looking after the palace and everything else, and he absolutely hates it. He's basically been requested to train the soldiers of the East, basically, and he spends all of his days sat under a tree, being wound up by the people assisting him, because he can't work the people of the land as hard as he would anyway, because they only have limited stamina. They can't train like adventurers do, so do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. He is bored. And
also, a lot of people land are treating him with way too much formality for his tastes.
Yeah, he does not like being treated that way. He doesn't like being treated like a no. As far as he's concerned, he's just a dude with some good gear. He does not like.
He likes being treated like he expects respect from his guild members because he's the guild leader.
Right.
But he doesn't expect them to be overly formal, just not completely informal either.
And he's also pretty much sure in his own mind that Shiroway asked him to do this just to piss him off.
he did it to annoy me, but he also assumes that it's important because he is very aware that this is actually important,
Mm-hmm.
and that Shiroi isn't doing it just to piss him off, but he's fairly certain that Shiroi did it to annoy him a little bit at least.
And this is where a lot of the stuff about the potential war again builds up and escalates a little bit, because while he's there, he also ends up looking after and beginning to train the Lanesia's younger brother, who it turns out, just the way they go, he's next in line to the throne. He's only a kid at this moment in time, but it's royalty, whatever, you know. And as I think it's his birthday, the king's like set to announce that he is going to be the successor, and it's all going to be taken over. They're doing the usual thing with royalty, where people are lining up, giving gifts, and all the rest of it. And there's just a casual assassination attempt, which, to be honest, you can see coming a mile away. But Isaac's on the ball with it as well. Gets a badass scene where it's like, yes, I'm a tank, and you're fucked.
Oh, look at all the people that land assassins. Well, they're higher level than normal. They're still about they're not even half my level, though.
Yeah. Oh well.
And I'm wearing full-on raid gear.
And the only reason I went through all that is because right at the end of it, we see a shadow move across across everything, and people start falling asleep.
Yeah.
Which then leads into the last arc, which is basically fucking Mothra.
Yep. But yes, it turns out that the tower where the communicator is now a raid dungeon, where the moths are based, and basically the few adventurers in Akihabara who are awake have to go, raid it, and they're a mixture of disparate levels.
It's literally everyone that's left. So even it's the A team, the B team. The B team are about half the level of the. Well, I don't think they're about level 50.
It should be noted that everyone that's left is because the moths.
The moths first put the people behind to sleep.
It drops spores, which puts everyone to sleep. Started with people of the land, then the second pass through its adventurers. Yeah. They're like, okay, we got to deal with this before it hits the rest of the adventurers. So
Shiroi picked people who were awake and weren't affected by the previous paths. It's like none of us fell asleep. A lot of people here are people who were caught in it and didn't fall asleep. Ergo, we have a shot at not falling asleep there.
So, like I say, it's most of Log Horizon, whether you're high level or not. So even Akatsuki is going to get to it, her first raid.
Yep.
A bunch from West Wind.
Yep.
But not. I don't. Oh no, he does do.
Sojourner's there.
So, yeah.
Oh, Sojourner and Nazuna are there.
Yeah. The chiefs there.
Crescent Moon's there for the most. The high level members of Crescent
Moon, and basically anybody that's left, and like they leave a skeleton crew back to.
And Rise and some of the other members of DDD that are in town.
Yes. Yeah. Rise is very important to note that she's there because she has such a fucking moment in that.
Oh, it's so good.
It's such a great thing.
Oh, one of the important note is about that we should mention that's important is the big other flash of when the flavor text comes to life is Krusty's walking around with the other strategist in his guild, who's the bard. I can't remember her name, but she's great. Who fights with a scythe named Calamity, which is apparently a cursed scythe, and it's been acting a little weird. And then the flavor text comes real and creates a beam of red light that's like looks like it's tearing her apart. So Krusty throws her out of it, and she reaches to try to grab him, and then the beam of light goes away, and he's gone along with her right arm.
That's okay. She didn't need that anyway. Now she's got a kick-ass robot arm.
Yep. So Krusty is gone.
But Krusty is gone. Yeah.
And Rise's barely holding the guild together. Fortunately, Krusty actually set up like line of like succession and like delegation and such for if I have to be offline for a long time because of work. This is how things are run while I'm gone.
Which is surprising for a guy who was lazy enough to just name his guild DDD because it was just the same letter 3 times.
Yes,
it had to be a minimum of 3 letters long.
Yes, and he named himself after a character from The Simpsons. Literally, that's actually according to the light novels, he named himself after the clown.
Yep.
That's why it's Krusty with a K. I love Krusty, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, he is lazy. He freely admits that, and that's part of the reason he set up this chain of delegation. So he didn't
Didn't have to
he
handle
front loaded
all that
he
shit.
front loaded all the work so that if he has to take time off, he doesn't have to spend time later doing it. He's one of those fundamentally lazy people who will do immense amounts of work to make things easier for himself later.
Yeah.
You know, like he's the type of person that I could get up to pick up that thing on the ground over there, but instead I'll grab my sweater off the thing and start swacking it towards me, which is actually more work than getting it up. But fuck it, I'm not getting up.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole gist of it now going into this last arc is the fact that if they make contact with the moon, what it might mean is that they have a way home. But in the there's also the factor that they may have to just destroy the
In order to save the people of the land, they might have to destroy the thing because
so they could save themselves, or they could save the people of the land. And then there's also those that may not necessarily want to go home.
Right.
Because Toya, in the guild, just for reference, it brings up a point that he's actually disabled in the real world. He had an accident when he was a kid and lost his legs. Well, lost the use of his legs. So he gets to walk around and run and jump and be an adventurer in.
But
in
he does
this
want
world.
to. He does want to go home and see his mom and dad.
He does say he does want to go back, but there are other people who may not feel the same way.
Right.
There's and it's making that decision for them. And Shirue is uncharacteristically distracted. His mind's on.
Because he's flip-flopping between what is the actual right thing to do here. And so they're not doing well, and they get in real trouble, and they get wiped.
Mm-hmm.
They get the respawn thing, and all this time, Rise is going, Krusty thinks the world of this guy's a strategist. What the? Why? I don't get it.
To the point, she's literally like, "This is pathetic. What is he? I mean, I know we're underleveled, but this is absolutely crap. Where did this guy get his reputation from? He's useless."
So they all respawn. Henrietta sort of walks up to Shiroi and she looks at him and she's like, Shiroi? Smack! Slaps him, knocks him left. Get your head out of your ass! And the B team offer we're here to help with you. You got to do we know you can do this, Shiroi. Such. Akatsuki picks up the glass, hands back to him. He's like, fuck it. Plan C. We're doing both.
Yeah, it's literally a case of they all turn around to him and say, "We know what you're thinking about. We know why you're distracted. You're trying to do this, that, and you're trying to make the decision between us and them, or whether and even the ones that were saying that they were going to go home are saying,
yeah, we'll stay here.
We'll stay. We're going to stay.
They're like, we'll stay here if it means saving the people, saving everybody.
I mean, the one thing we glossed over, I didn't mention because it was really last season. Rudy is a person of the land.
He can't go.
He can't go back to Earth because he doesn't have a body. He doesn't exist there.
Well, as far as we know, he can't.
Well, as far as we know. But yeah, like as Peter said, Shiroi realizes he's motherfucking Shiroi and decides he's not going to take option A or B. He's going to make his own door.
Yeah. It's like, wait, we can beat the raid boss and not destroy the thing. Fuck that noise.
Door or window? Door or window? Whoa!
We're doing both.
And then, as I said,
but yeah, so and he comes up with this mad plan. And, you get to watch Rise going, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, there's at one point where she realizes that
it's the bit after the boss, the main raid boss has this this random nuking spell that is almost an insta kill.
Yeah. And
they're it's random, all this bullshit, and it uses it twice, and everything, and the Chiro's like, okay, here we go. All right, yep, all right, and you guys go here, cast the spells, do that, this other thing. The skill comes in, hits, and she's like, oh god, it's gonna wipe these people out, and wait, we're fine. What we went through it with these buffs? What the hell? Sure, what happened? He's like, oh well, this is how the spell works. This is how that attack works. She's like, in order to know how it works, you have to be tracking everybody's hit points, the timers on the boss's abilities, their mana levels, what spells have been cast. It's this is that whole full control encounter thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it literally shows his his overview is like everyone's bars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Constant, and she's like, "Oh fuck!" It's like I thought I was a strategist. I am nowhere near his level.
She's like,
It's like-
oh, I'd heard, like, it's like that whole, I've heard rumors of the full control counter. I've always assumed that was bullshit. Nope, it isn't.
Oh, Shiroi is he is the conductor of this entire fight. It's unreal when he gets going. It's like, she, not only does she learn where he got his reputation, she fucking figures out where he got his nickname too.
Yeah.
He's scary.
She's like, oh man.
And he comes down to like, they get the boss down to like the last slither, and it's he just they get this cool like little moment where it's Akatsuki and Natsu going in, like they pull a buff on Natsu that turns all his defense into attack, and it's like, oh god.
And he sets up the Thornbind hostage combo for them. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get Regan comes in. They get the communicator working, and it connects with China. And
well, it's not so much to connect with China. They're going, "Hello, Moon, can you hear us?" And all of a sudden, Konami's like, "Hello, is this working?"
Hello?
And Shiro's like, wait,
Bushy Bushy?
hello?
Guten
He's like,
Tag.
wait, I recognize that voice. Shiro, is that you? And he's like, oh no. Hi, Konami, how you doing?
What
Where
you doing
are
on
you?
the moon there, hon? I'm not in the moon. I'm in China. What are you doing in China, hon? Getting to you guys? That's cool.
Oh, did I tell you I had a kid? I'd heard. She must be 3 now, right?
Yeah, that's about right. She's can't wait to bring her into this world. What?
What?
Well, I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna say hi. I'm gonna go and show her this world. I mean, why couldn't we go back and forth? We got here one time. Why not another? That's a really good point there. We hadn't thought of that.
Shiro's brain just fucking clicks, and he's like, "Oh God, there's option C."
That's even better. Sweet. Awesome. All right. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'll accept your sort of your idea. We're totally do that. And if you get here in time, you get to see it with me. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, Shiro, Krusty says hi. Wait, what?
Yeah, he's over here. Not sure what he's doing in China.
What's he doing in
doesn't know
China?
either.
Then the communicator explodes.
Best thing is, it pans out to show them, and Krusty's there with this like bag slung over his shoulder that's twitching.
Yes, he's got the bard's arm there.
That was months ago. And
Yep,
the
it's
arm
still
is still twitching.
Yep. Les is like, he's like, so Shiro is up to something interesting, isn't he? Kind of, not even a little bit surprised. Meanwhile, Konami's pounding on the communicator, going, "Work, damn you!" I love Konami, I really do.
She is a force of nature.
She is. She is a force of nature that I am 100% certain I would totally get swept up alongside and have a lot of fun adventuring with. But would also drive me mad from time to time. Much like Shiro. It's yes, I totally could understand being like her being like one of my best friends and would drive me mad every month or so. It's like, oh my god, Konami, just slow down for like 30 seconds, please. But yeah, and that's basically Log Horizon Season 2. It's disjointed.
It is.
Yeah,
I mean, we
it kind
haven't
of
even
bounces around a lot.
we haven't even really mentioned the whole genius plot.
Yeah,
because
that ties.
That's kind of going to go into the next season, I think.
I think so too. Also, it does tie into the whole aliens thing.
Yeah.
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 It's complicated. And honestly, it doesn't really matter.
There's
that
not much point bringing it up other than they are antagonists of some sort.
And they're very
there's
powerful.
Some kind of new monster. They're smarter than the average monster. They have weird shticks.
They're weird. They've got some weird shticks, but they're also weird. They the way they fight is weirdly more mechanical than the monsters the players have been fighting recently.
Yeah.
It's weird, but they are also very powerful.
Well, it's because they all seem to just hack the system in some way.
Yeah, they fuck with the actual mechanics of the world. So,
Yep.
like, just to skim over one of them, and that we get to see how. I mean, because The first few we meet are actually relatively dealt with fairly quickly. One of them that seems to be a real problem is one that is the genius of measurements.
Yep.
And he can literally alter reality. It's like
he can alter
you-
distance and timing, basically.
distance, timing, measures, anything that requires a measurement.
Yep.
So, like, if somebody's waiting for a skill to cool down, he can extend that cooldown. If you've fired a shot within range,
and it has a variable damage, it will do minimum damage.
Yeah,
or it'll hit somebody. It'll hit a different target, or
it'll go anything like that. And the only reason I managed to beat it is because the manufacturing guild that have been have the ultimate measuring device, which can say for certain this is this distance.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, this is
because he's a mad scientist.
Yes. Yeah. Roderick is a mad scientist and invented a ruler that measures things perfectly.
Yeah. But that's the kind of level they're dealing with. The guy that can basically deny the laws of of physics of the actual world versus a thing that absolutely quantifies those properties. Yeah.
That is something I wanted to see more of that actual encounter. Honestly.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Roderick trying to come up with that plan. Like, it's literally covered. Mind you, the way it's shown in the show is hilarious, and I'm okay with it.
You know damn well he had that in his drawer the entire time.
He might have. At any rate, we should probably get up to final
words.
Probably
prevent rubber banding.
Yeah. But we should probably wrap up because
yes.
we're running a little bit long. So final thoughts, me, then Eric, then Gav, because this is Gav's selection. So yeah, what did I think? It's good. Season 2 is good. It is not as good as Season 1. The animation's not as good. They don't stay on this model. It's a different studio. But they kept the same directorial team, which you can tell. But like it's Eric will probably go more into the animation than because he's got a better feel for it than I do. But even I can tell the animation wasn't as good. And the characters weren't drawn quite as well for the most part. And as I said, it feels rushed and weirdly drawn, but at the same time weirdly drawn out at times. I think that's as nature as I think they try to cram too much in, and so some things had to be shortened more than they needed to be, and some things really probably could have been left out. I think sort of my gut feeling, or saved. Or if they had known there was that the author was going to get out of jail and get back to writing, they would be able to put that off till Season 3. But I think overall it was good. I know there are people who I've seen a lot of people who really don't like Season 2. I don't get it. I don't get the level of dislike for Season 2 that there is out there. There are a lot of people who like it. There are plenty of people who like it, but there's a contingent of people I've seen who basically sort of say, yeah, Season 2 was a mistake and terrible. And I'm like, it was not as good, but it wasn't terrible. It was fine. It was good. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. But it's not as good as Season 1. But do I recommend it? Hell yeah. As usual, the music is good. The characters are engaging. I agree with Gav. I think I would have liked to have seen Akatsuki be a little bit less down on herself. It felt like it went a little long on it. And I really, really, really wish Tetra was a little less Tetra.
Yeah,
I wish she was. The moments when she drops the teasing, the needling teasing character she has, and is just serious adventurer Tetra, are actually she's really interesting and likable. And like even there are moments when she's doing her thing that she's actually genuinely kind of funny and charming. It's that she keeps doing it over and over again, and she pushes the boundaries a little bit too far. She is very close to being a good character. She just pushes things a little bit too far, in my opinion.
Yep.
But to make up for that, Row 2 is awesome, and Rise is fan-fucking-tastic. So the other characters they introduced for the season I actually genuinely like a lot. Like, Row 2 is great and weird, and Rise she's legitimately one of my favorites, honestly. Just because, like, just the way she handles things is a lot of fun. And we get to see more of everybody else, and they're all fun. So, thumbs up. Also, the Isaac's episode was goddamn hilarious.
Yes.
And I loved seeing Isaac, actually come to actually like respect and like the kid he's watching after, Linesia's little brother. There's this little of, okay, this kid's got this. This is not some spoiled brat. Okay. Yeah, he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. And I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna make damn sure he's gonna be a good guy. I'm gonna keep an eye on him. I really dug that. It's very clear Isaac has decided, yep, I'm gonna make sure this kid is gonna be the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of respect that about him.
You get a cool little conversation between Isaac and the old king.
It's Sergietta, yeah.
It's cool actually seeing Isaac because he comes off as really belligerent, but obviously when he's with somebody he respects and just having a straight conversation, he's actually got a lot of sense.
Oh yeah.
And
no, it turns out Isaac's just a good dude.
Yeah, he really is. He just doesn't like people to know it. That's all. And he's saying, "Do you not think that he's probably a little bit too young?" And he's like, "Well, my oldest daughter married out of the family, basically, so she can't be heir. The heir has to be I forgot the surname, but it's Linesia clearly isn't. She's not cut out to be a ruler. She's got her own skills. They are not what are needed.
What she did when she did what she did at the conference with you guys. I realized then that I was pushing her in the wrong direction. She had a direction she has things that she should be doing, and I should let her do what she's actually going to be good at.
Yeah. And it turns out, Isaac watches this kid going around the town, and he's actually like advising people and giving ideas. He's only like 10.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, okay, this kid's got something. Fucking Anduin.
So yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed that. So yeah, I overall recommend it if you haven't watched it yet. But it is not as good as season 2, and I am looking forward to season 3.
Yeah.
Eric?
All right, so I too enjoyed the series, season 2. It's more disjointed than season 1, but it also spends more time at the B team, and I like the B team, so that's cool.
Yep.
The animation quality has definitely taken a step down. The transition between frames isn't as smooth, which I know doesn't make sense to some people, but it just. The animation is slightly jerkier than the previous one. Things go off model a bit more than is entirely necessary. It's not bad. It's merely mediocre, and that's the issue. I understand why people might not like this episode, this season, as much as the previous one. Partially because it's a bit more disjointed and the animation's taken a step down. I think the bigger issue is that they're really the people that enjoyed season 1 were really into the what's the word I'm looking for, the society building, and there's less of that now. There's dealing with the aftermath of that, and they're just not as interested in that. I am actually quite interested in the aftermath of that, so I rather enjoyed it and solving those various issues there. Yeah, I mean, like Peter said, I like all of the characters, Tetra notwithstanding. And again, when Tetra's not being quite so extra, she's tolerable. I just find her irritating every other time.
Yeah, I totally get why someone would not like Tetra. I get it.
She has a terrible tendency to just steal the spotlight from much more interesting, better characters, and show up in places where she's simply not welcome, which is everywhere.
I will say, her Looney Tunes popping out of Natsuko's
Looney Tunes popping out of people's clothing is hilarious. Yes,
every time it happens, it's goddamn.
Every time it happens, it's hilarious. And they remember, oh, it's Tetra.
Eric, now you understand how I feel about Aqua.
Yeah, but Aqua's okay. I get it.
Admittedly,
At least
I think
Aqua eats shit more often than not.
I was going to get to that, Eric. Tetra's a less terrible person than Aqua.
Yeah,
She's just annoying.
she's just more annoying than Aqua.
I agree. I will agree with you on that, honestly.
Tetra also never gets a comeuppance.
No, she doesn't.
But yeah, I
Although-
would recommend season 2. It's a little bit of a letdown from season 1, but it's what I can tell the middle season, and it kind of got Babylon 5'd. So
Yeah, it kind of did. I will say, Eric, one of my favorite Tetra moment in the entire show is the level of holy shit, I just realized that Natsuko's actual girlfriend is a better person than I am moment she had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When Marielle saves her from some monsters, and she's like, "Why did you do that?" Well, you were like she's a better gamer than I am because she did it partially because I had more mana left and was therefore in better position to help the party, and if one of us had to go, it should be the cleric who's lower on mana, and B, because it was the nice thing to do. Oh my god, Natsuko's actually fallen for actually like the nicest person in the fucking game. Oh, okay, I get it. Oh my god, I have a crush on Natsuko's girlfriend. Because that. Well, I'm not sure it's that, but she immediately starts doing the sort of thing she does to Natsuko to Marielle also. And Marielle's like,
Yeah.
"What's happening?
Why is this a thing? How have you not murdered her, Natsu?"
Because she's a member of my guild, and when she's not being this, she's actually kind of cool. The problem is she's this about half the time.
She's this about half the time. More than half, honestly.
Well, it's half the time she's on screen.
Fair enough. So yeah, I'd recommend go see the series.
Yep.
It's fun. I enjoyed it. It's just just be prepared for it to be a little bit of a letdown from season 1. And it's mostly just a quality thing. It's not as well paced, and it's got a bit of the animation's a bit of a step down.
Yep.
And that's okay. It's not to the point where it's offensive and I want to punch everything. It's not like One Punch Man season 2.
Same studio.
That explains a lot.
Interestingly, I think the difference is that One Punch Man, Log Horizon retained the same directorial team. One Punch Man didn't.
Right.
The thing, I mean, just to on that, I mean, One Punch Man wasn't god awful. It just wasn't the first season.
Well, here's the other thing. Log Horizon Season 1's animation quality is not as good as One Punch Man Season 1's animation.
Yeah.
So it is a much bigger step down.
I'm going to be honest, like, what attracted me to One Punch Man Season 1 was, oh my god, that's fucking gorgeous. Oh, the story's good too? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's also hilarious. I'm on board.
But yeah.
Like, you're not watching Log Horizon Season 1 for the animation.
No, you're not.
You're watching it because it is really cool. It's really, really well done. And the I will say, the one thing that I will give the studio that did Season 1 credit for is the amount of effort they put into the background details.
Yes, and that doesn't actually go away.
No, I think that's the case of the directorial team. Saying, no,
Like, they
the crowd shots,
of
everybody in the crowd shot should be different. But that's
Yeah.
a lot more work. I don't care.
Yeah, like the animation is a little bit more jerky. People go off model more, but you still see a tremendous amount of creativity in like the just random schmuckos wandering around.
Yep.
No one looks exactly the same. Even people in uniform are like different heightened builds.
Yep. Which
There's
is not
no
something you see all that
stock
often.
dude.
Yeah, it's not something you see that often. All right, Gav. We should wrap up. Sorry, Eric.
Well, yeah.
Didn't mean to step on you there.
For my take on I've forgotten her name now.
Tetra?
Tetra, yeah. And I'm not going to bang on this because I think everything's been said really. But the only issue with Tetra, and as I've said, is if the joke had evolved,
yeah,
to the point where she was still winding up Natsu because Natsu was the only one that hadn't cottoned on that it's just a wind up. Everyone else has seen through the joke, but she's still going up to them like, it's that Family Guy joke of the dude with a picture of his kids in his wallet, just smashing you in the face. Is it funny yet? Is it funny? Is it funny? Are you laughing? Are you laughing? It's like, all right. The joke just doesn't evolve. It doesn't change. It just keeps hitting you with it. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. But that aside, like you said, yeah, there is a good character under there. It's just get rid of the joke
or evolve it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Other than that, because we meet her in the first arc, and she's there for most of the season doing the same thing. But yeah, other than that, like they've said, the series is a little bit more disjointed. It is, other than the first two seasons, the first two arcs, because they happen simultaneously. Everything else is pretty much self-contained. Their own little. This is this. This is this. This is this, with completely different casts. Yeah, as we've mentioned, there's production issues that are going on with this because of the writer. Hopefully, things get sorted out. I believe they've changed studio again for the third season, haven't they?
No, it's the same studio this time. They kept the same
studio again. Oh no, it's because we saw the trailer and it actually looked like it improved animation.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to the next one. This is one of those things where, look, I like this show as a whole.
Yep.
So I was going to be watching season 2 to get to season 3 anyway. There is no point watching season 3 if you haven't watched season 2. That's how stories work. You need to see the middle to get to the end, unfortunately, in some cases. Looking at you, Star Wars. But yeah, look, as these guys, as usually happens, these guys have already said pretty much everything and covered all my bits. The only thing I will point out as well, a moment of silence for Man with a Mission and Database. The theme song that's held true through 2 seasons of making absolute nonsense, finally going away. And
season 3 is going to have a different opening theme.
Different opening theme, quite literally.
Yep. It's different.
It's different. By Bandmade.
That's the name of the song.
Me, Peter, and possibly Eric are all Bandmade fans, so yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy me some Bandmade.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's going to be changing. But no, I pointed it out just because you mentioned about the crowd shots and the rest of it, and the number of times you see the guys with the wolf heads in the background shot.
Yeah,
it's nice. It's nice that the staff do that little bit of extra and put them in there. And obviously they're stuck by that theme now for 2 seasons, which is very rare in anime.
Most shows don't have the same theme for a whole season.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, that'll do it. Go and watch it. Go watch the first season. Go watch this one, and then get ready for season 3 in the next few days.
Yep.
Dating the episode.
That's going to do it, folks. Thank you for watching. Oh, right. Yeah, I am not sure what we're doing for the next episode. It's my choice, and I have not decided yet, so I will decide by Saturday.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm not sure what we're going to do next. So hopefully, yeah, I'm not sure. I've been very indecisive the past few days. So, but that's going to do it, folks. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, throw us a like and a subscribe. Leave a comment, etc. We'll be back whenever we finish the next episode, when we finish watching the next series. So it'll be at least 2 weeks. Basically, odds are it'll be either 2 or 4 weeks, roughly.
Generally how it works out.
Generally how it works out. I will endeavor not to do an extra long series again.
Oh, it's my turn next one of those. I'm the only one who hasn't.
We're totally going to do Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. No, we're not doing that right now. I want to do something. That's not what I want to pick right now. I know that. But yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Have a great time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.